See where you're happy. You burped?
Yeah.
Oh.
People like to hear it. All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast, brought to you by Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast and Hunt Club. I am Jeff Stanfield with
Ski King.
the asshole,
The
Andy
Ski
Shaver.
King.
Ski King.
It is St. Patty's Day. We got some Jameson. Y'all want any? There's just a little snort left.
I'm
No,
all right.
everybody's good. All right, don't say I didn't offer you assholes anything.
How was the ski trip?
Oh, fantastic, Jeff. Felt good to get up there with my people.
With your people. How the fuck are these your people?
They're my people.
Are you
Jeff.
Mexican?
No, the problem is there's too many shitty skiers on spring break.
Oh, so now you are a fucking expert. You've skied 5 times in your life. And
7.
You're a fucking
7.
expert.
Oh,
You've
Jeff,
never even skied at a ski place.
when you see somebody snow plowing and their arms are at a 90-degree angle, you're like, he's a shitty skier. I better stay away.
Andy, you've never skied anywhere good.
Jeff, it doesn't matter.
You're on the Virgin Hills of New Mexico.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does. If you go over to Taos and ski, then you won't be such a king.
Don't do it.
You won't even be
Bucky
a fucking
ski
prince.
tiles.
Don't do it.
It's like skiing in fucking Switzerland or somewhere. It's hard.
Speaking of which, did you see they had a sandstorm over Sahara Desert, sandstorm. There was a ski resort in Spain. Fucking looks exactly like the Sahara Desert. I'll pull it up. It's crazy.
So they're skiing on sand now.
Basically, yeah. I'll get it to you, Jeff. Don't you worry.
It's global warming. Well, anyways, we have guests with us today.
Yeah,
believe it or
introduce
not,
them, you rude fuck.
from Albany, Texas. Wade Montgomery and Bucky Nail. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good.
Wonderful.
No,
Thanks for having us.
How'd you get involved in this, and Wade?
Oh, well, I saw Andy last week over at the Beehive, and he said, man, we've been needing to get you up there for a podcast, and Bucky and Les Bowman have been up here before, and I guess Bucky kind of roped me into the deal. And
If you're as good a guess as Les is,
Les,
that's gonna be good, 'cause Les is fucking funny.
I don't have near the stories Les has.
Lester the molester.
He will throw anybody under the bus.
I mean, he named Bucky's wife Squirt because she had the shit.
Oh, I know. I listen to the podcast
I mean-
as well as my dad and everybody else in Albany. They're like,
Sorry,
gosh,
Les.
almighty.
Les was he the funniest guy in Albany or one of them?
He's one of the funniest guys I've ever been around with.
Yeah, he's-
in my life.
I want to get Les on here with Clay Reed.
Oh gosh, that'd be good.
Oh yeah, he calls
them
him.
two
He
together-
calls him Mountain Man from Brokeback Mountain.
Les does?
Yeah, he calls Clay Reed.
Them two together, it's a pretty good time.
Now, Les's wife, Smokey, I met her this summer at our 4th of July deal. They bring the food truck up here, and she's a neat lady. She really is. She don't put up with a lot of Les's shit.
No,
I mean,
she
none.
can handle her own. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Oh yeah.
And she's got a fix for if you're sick or you need something fixed. Call Smokey.
Smokey
She'll
can,
bring you any
Smokey can do it.
medicine.
She'll get it done.
Home remedies or just
Both.
Everything.
confiscated hospital remedies.
Doesn't matter.
A little of both.
I got the flu one time in Oklahoma, and the people we live the Harris up there, Amy brung some. They come over to the house one night where we lived at, and they brung some kind of voodoo witch medicine, and it had fucking. I think it had some dirt from under the toenails of a wicked witch on that shit. It was smelled. And she says, if you'll drink this, you won't be sick anymore. And her husband's like, yeah, just drink it. I'm like, fuck you, drink this shit. I took one whiff of that shit, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah, you drink this. You'll be so sick from something else, you won't even know you had anything else done. That was horrible. But there's some home remedy shit that,
Oh, yeah.
that works. Ivermectin.
Oh yeah.
We're team Ivermectin here.
Got a bottle on my bathroom counter.
We every 2 to 3 weeks we take it to the house. Michelle goes, I think we need some more ivermectin. I put the old syringe out, and she told me the other day, she goes, give me some extra because I'm going to take it with wine, and that way it won't kill it off. I said,
My
okay.
dose is so large, I just take about once every 6 weeks.
Yeah, I take it 3. How much do you take?
I take 3.
You take 3.
Yeah.
I take 2.5 to 3 cc's every 2 to 3 weeks.
2, 8 to 3, just whatever I draw up.
Don't do it with Mexican food. Oof.
Really?
Oh man,
Cleaned him
It'll
out.
clean you out.
Don't put it in a beer either.
That clean you out also?
Well, it just fizzes out the top, and you waste the ivermectin the beer.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you don't want to do that. But when we were in Mexico, they go in the back, you have to do your deal, and I come out, and he's like, "You're negative." I said, "Well, fuck yeah, I'm on pro staff ivermectin around here. I wasn't worried about that shit."
There it is right there. Oh, fuck, I'm still on the shitty internet, so this might take till tomorrow to load up.
Hook it over real quick.
It would take too long, Jeff.
We are
That's
Starlink
wrong.
people. Elon Musk, I want to thank you so much. Tony and Harry are not what I would call technologically savvy. And they put that motherfucker together in about 10 minutes.
Really?
It was no time at all.
Here he comes right here.
They drilled a hole through the wall, and that was it.
It's in Spain somewhere.
See, I could probably ski on that.
Well, Ski King here.
Look
he
at
could.
it, though. That's fucking...
That's pretty crazy.
That's wild.
Do you know where the word Ski King comes from in this family?
No.
My dad, in the early 60s, my dad used to water ski a lot. Said that Lake Ontario up by Buffalo, Kansas, and this pink Cadillac pulled up, pulling a pink boat with two black guys in it. And this black guy, old jet boat, blah, 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 and they put this old boat in the water, go down there, and this guy puts on these skis and takes his ski rope and wraps them around his fucking wrist, and he stands on the end of the dock with these skis on, and Dad said everybody's watching him. The guy on the back says, "Are you ready, Ski King?" This guy goes, "Ready to go, Daddy-o." Boom, blah, blah, blah. Dad said, pew, shot that son of a bitch off the fucking deal. And he was tied around that son of a bitch. Dad said he drug him for a quarter of a mile underwater. So bitch come up.
Gosh, damn.
Dad said, laugh my ass off. Are you ready, Ski King? Ready to go, Daddy-o.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's awesome.
I said, well, how'd the skiing go? Dad said, never saw him again.
Shit. So turkeys are gobbling.
That's it.
When does the season start? First
Second.
week?
April 2nd.
April 2nd?
Yep.
So nobody,
Not
that's
long.
I've noticed the difference between Albany and Knox City. Is people stay in Albany that grow up there. Nobody in Knox City stays home hardly. Out of your class, Andy, you graduated 30 people. How many people still live here?
Just me.
That's it, out of your whole class. There's no jobs here.
Think.
Yeah.
That's pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, in the class above you, there's not.
But
one or
really and
two.
truly,
One
I
or
mean,
two?
there's not a whole lot of my classes still.
There's not?
No. I mean, there's some, but you'd be surprised more people move out than.
Didn't
Well,
stay.
I'd say there's a handful of people, once they're married and have kids, they, move back.
Usually
and,
venture back
Life in
to
a
raise
small
their
town
kids.
is great.
with some
Oh,
guys.
for sure. Yeah.
And-
I've probably got, 5 or 6 out of my class that are still around.
Y'all's whole little running crew, y'all kind of all stayed around.
Yeah. I mean,
Now,
a couple of them cowboy, a couple of them are in the oil field.
now, what do you do full time?
So I oversee a couple of ranches over there in Albany, and run all their hunting and kind of day-to-day operations. And then,
So do you do the ranch day-to-day operations or just the hunting operations?
I mean, they kind of overlap on both of them. The one ranch we don't run any cattle on, so it's a little over 20,000 acres, strictly hunting.
Where all those
Peop-
big ass deer come.
People up north are like 20. God almighty, 20. They just can't fathom 20,000 acres is one ranch.
Right. And then there's another family that has the cows on the ranch north of Albany. And so that ranch is just strictly hunting. And then our family has a ranch south of Albany. And so I help my dad with our cattle operation. So
What's the website that's got all these big deer on it? It's on Instagram, right?
Texas Buck.
Texas Buck Registry.
Okay.
So
We're going to go through this.
How old are you?
I'll be 30 the end of this month.
30 years old, and you've not grown up yet, really, have you?
No, I was telling Bucky on the way up here, we celebrated his 30th birthday, I guess, 7 years ago. And I thought, damn, 30s, that's old. And now I'm here. And
How old is Zach?
28?
Do you know Zach?
No, he's 29.
I've been around Zach a little bit.
God bless you.
Oh, heck, he's a great guy.
He is a great guy. He's Zach though.
He's calmed down a bunch.
Oh yeah, the reason I have gray whiskers is because of Zach. Zach made me age a lot in a couple of years. A lot of spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's gonna pay for that with one of his daughters.
Landon.
I don't know.
She
Yeah, I
seems
think
pretty
more
wild.
than Dylan too, because Dylan's more. Yeah, I think so. Because Dylan does not like attention and stuff. Landon's gonna be a little Zach.
Yeah.
Have you appeared on this Texas Buck Registry more than anybody else
Yes,
in the history of
he
Texas
has.
Buck Registry? And
He
it's going
has.
to take a minute.
Now, are you a self promoter?
There's what.
There's my girlfriend.
Yeah, there's his girlfriend in top middle.
That's her?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Madeline Jordan.
She's a good looking girl.
Yeah, real. Oh,
Wow.
wow. Look
Hell
at
yeah.
that. Look at the deer. 7.5, 10 point. Low fence. Shackleford County.
We shot that deer in
Now, how long have you been
January.
dating this girl? I'm fixing to put somebody on the spot right here.
Oh, here we go.
I told Bucky I'm going to guide you through this.
Oh, yeah. No, so I was actually supposed to go to a wedding in Dallas, kind of the end of October, and had hunters in at the ranch, and I told my parents, I said, I can't make it. And they said, well, you need to go to this engagement party in Abilene. And I said, well, I've got hunters in. I don't have the time. I don't want to go over there. And they just kept hounding me. They said, you've got to go over there. You know, you need to represent our family. Well, come to find out, it was a whole setup deal.
I had that coming up.
And so anyway, met Madeline that night, and she actually reached out to me. She said, hey, you know, would you want to go get drinks sometime? And I said, hell,
let's just get this over with.
Yeah, I'll take you to dinner. And so
Are you Mormon? Is this like a setup pre-arranged marriage type deal?
No.
I didn't know.
Kind of family friends, and but she grew up in Abilene, and I didn't know her until that party.
And now, how many years ago was this?
Are we living together now?
No, this was just
in October.
Yeah, this past October.
Okay, so you're coming up on a year, and you're letting her shoot big deer like that.
Well, that was kind of a management deer.
Oh, that's a management deer.
She
136 and 6/8.
You met her in October?
Yeah.
When did she shoot that deer?
January.
Yeah.
So 3 months later.
Yeah.
So, are y'all living together?
No. She lives in Abilene, and I stay out at the ranch.
So is this like marriage coming up down the road? I think someone's living in some sin.
No, of course
I
not.
recommend that. You should.
About as much sin as Andy and Jesse live.
Yeah, you should live
lot of
together for at least 18 months before you get married. Guaranteed.
Figure everything out.
There's
They need
Wade,
to
right?
wash your drawers.
I've heard you say that on past
I'm
podcasts.
telling you.
If they can't wash your dirty laundry, then
If you can't walk in the bathroom and they've got the shower running because they're taking a dump, but they don't want you to know they're there, and you walk in and the stink and the smell and if that don't knock you down, then you know that's the one for you.
Yeah, but
am I telling you the truth, Bucky?
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
that's true. Yeah,
There
they
still needs
try
to
to
be a-
camouflage it.
There still needs to be a level of romance. I wouldn't
What are you talking about?
shitting with the door open and all that.
Yeah.
I didn't say shitting with the door open. I said when you go in the bathroom when they've been running the shower and they got it all steamed up and they're like
Yeah,
they've been
but-
showering, and you walk in, you're like, whoa, they weren't showering.
Yeah, but I find that romantic. You know?
Huh?
I do not.
No shit. There's nothing romantic about that.
No,
there's an Albany
that
deer.
she's trying to hide it.
Which
But
one?
you need to live with that girl for a while.
The up there in the top right
Oh
corner.
yeah, top right.
He does not want to talk about his relationship.
No, we're good. She's a sweet girl though. We've had a great time, and
That was that the WB?
that was Pecan Grove.
Oh, Pecan
yeah.
Grove.
So do you know, like, basically anytime a big deer's taken in Shackleford County?
Well, this
like-
is one of their ranches.
Oh, this one is?
Yeah.
So that was one of y'all's hunters?
Yeah, that was a brother of one of the cousins.
Okay, now all this is low fence.
It's all low fence, native genetics. I mean, we supplemental feed. We feed a lot of protein.
So you can
but
get that with just protein.
That deer was actually not on protein. That ranch we don't feed. That's just a Shackleford County.
Yeah,
That's just a native deer.
What's the biggest deer you shot this year?
The biggest one. I shot a deer opening day. It was 202. We had him officially scored. He was 202 and 3/8. And killed him with a bow opening day, and it was just it's a deer of 10 lifetimes. And
But you're going to try to shoot a bigger one next year.
no, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I guess just.
I would have done the same thing you did.
Well, I worked for a guy named Casey Jones, and the week before the opening of bow season, I put my hand on Casey's shoulder and I said, Casey, you really need to go hunt this deer and see if you can get a shot on him. I said, he's spectacular. I said, he'll be the biggest deer that's ever taken off the ranch. He said, I don't have any desire. He said, go kill him opening day. And
Casey
so
sounds like a good dude.
Yes,
he
sir.
packed his bags right then.
I was hoping you were
You
going
didn't try
say
to talk him out of that, huh?
I said,
Oh,
I
bullshit.
did. And anyway, so he was in Fort Worth and hunted the deer that morning, and he came into the feeder setup, and I had a coyote come in out of the west, and anyway, spooked the deer, and I thought, well, hell, he'll come back in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Deer never showed back up, and so I texted Casey. I said, he's a monster. He said, well, bring him in. And so I went back that afternoon, and anyway, killed that deer, and he went 202, and then one of our buddies, JT Bowman, who helps me guide a lot and helps
I'm
on
going
the
to
ranch.
stop you right quick. The last podcast with Stoner, and you were talking about this Wade get excited.
Yeah.
You should have seen the video, the Snapchats of him walking up to this deer.
Really?
You couldn't make out anything he said. All you could do was you just had to look at the antlers. It was hilarious.
It was, and I guessed.
Rightfully so, though.
Yeah.
So back to my story, but so then JT 30 minutes later shoots another deer that goes damn near 190, scores 189, makes the all-time typical Boone and Crockett book.
Is JT kin to Les?
Yeah, little
Yes,
cousin.
little
Okay.
cousin.
I think I met JT.
Well, there he's on here. We'll show him a picture.
Yeah.
He looks just like him.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah, you're gonna have
Huge
to go.
head. Huge head.
Poor mom.
Yeah.
Trying to think.
Scrolling.
There'll be a ways down there.
Yeah,
what
they're gonna.
month am I in anyway?
Oh.
So when you
And this is Texas Buck Registry on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a
Hell,
www website.
Yeah,
too.
if you those
was
are just my deer
11
that are on the.
weeks ago. I'll scroll way down.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
It'll be October.
But whenever you're doing this, 202, like that doesn't even. What does he look like compared to like a regular sized deer, like the 140 that your girlfriend shot?
Well, that one right there is 178. So add
No, he's not. We,
Yeah,
y'all-
no,
y'all
he
measured
was over 180.
Yeah,
because we got in an argument with Jamie that night.
yeah, and we
and
scored him right there on that table.
You wouldn't have
So
been
what-
proud of us.
Well, I don't care. What did he score?
180.
He was 183 or 184.
Okay,
I
well,
think.
I've been lying to everybody for so, but
Yeah.
you still add 20 inches to that deer. That's
Yeah.
a big deer.
Right.
Yep.
Frame wise, he looks a lot like that deer, but he had 18 or 19 scoreable points and a bunch of kickers.
What do
and-
you weigh, body wise?
Well, so we guessed all these deer just off of trail camera pictures, throughout the summer and kind of in September, and I had all of them from 180 to 170, but we were going off 150, 160 pound body, and all of the deer we shot this year were 200 to 220 pounds
See, I
live
bet,
weight
I wonder what that deer's an Iowa deer, so I'm betting that deer weighed
That deer's-
250.
at least, maybe
Yeah.
closer to 300.
There's you, Bucky.
Yep.
That was Buck's deer.
Do I need to keep going down? So that
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good ways past this one.
162.
That's a
I
hell-
mean, I
is that
can't
your biggest deer
imagine.
you've ever shot?
No, sir.
What's the biggest you've shot?
165 and 7/8.
That's damn.
But I
Hey,
can't.
I'm perfectly happy. I don't care. I mean, yeah.
You ain't gonna. Let me tell you something. That's
that's
a
a-
ghost you're going against
That's
right
the
there.
prettiest deer I've ever killed right there.
A 200 class deer on a true low fence is as good as you can get. And what gets me, if you put your 200 class deer and you put that on a website, that dickhead that's going to talk shit about you on the fucking Facebook
Every
Well,
all
time.
the time. Well, God, I
There's
do that
Wade's
shit.
Oh,
drop
yeah.
time.
Oh, that one right there.
That's
Now,
a fun.
that's a cool ass.
That's the deer he killed when Stoner was at the ranch.
Oh,
That was a funny
150.
story.
How many fucking deer you kill this year, young man?
I shot those two.
MLD tags are a good thing.
The funny story on that. So KC was actually hunting that deer, and the rut rolled around, and I told him, I said, this deer is not going to come back into this feeder where we had a bow set up. And KC was wanting to shoot him with his bow. I said, he's going to be in this wheat field. I said, he does it every year. And I said, just take your rifle down there and kill him before he breaks up a bunch of antlers. And anyway, he said, no, I want to bow hunt him. I said, I'll go down there and sit and just see if the deer comes in. He said, no, take your rifle. He said, if you
Right
sit.
middle, bottom left.
Yeah, that's another
That's
one.
another deer. That's Little Rob's deer that come off the same ranch.
Good Lord.
See, but we all guessed that deer at high 150s.
And he was 172,
172.
Yeah.
173.
So you got your boss let you shoot this other deer too.
Yeah, well, he tells me, he says, take your rifle. He said, if you see him, kill him. He said, the deal is, if you shoot the deer, you don't get to, we're going to put the antlers in the ranch house. And I said, I'm perfectly fine. I shot a 200-inch deer opening weekend. And
No, yeah,
Don't mean to brag,
No
but
big,
no
no
big
big deal.
deal.
I don't want that little scrub buck.
you can keep the 150.
And so, sure enough, about 5:30 that evening, the deer came out and ran right by my pickup, came up out of the river, and spooked at my truck. Well, he runs within 10 yards of the blind right beside me. And I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, that drop time's hanging off his
Right
left
there,
side.
far left, top. Old man. That's
Max,
another deer that come off Wade's.
Max Spurgeon. We missed
He's-
that one by 20, about 10, 15 inches.
185.
You thought it was 170?
Yeah, off the pictures. We killed. So opening day we shot the 202 and the 189, and then our game warden the following day kills a 197 on that Sunday. So
Well,
there's,
I bet he catches shit from them other game warden guys.
oh, he's caught shit from everybody in the county.
Yeah, kind of deal. What are you letting them get
What
by
do you
with
let
over
them
there?
do over How many deer is Wade actually shooting?
Don't worry about it.
And so we had this guy in town, and that deer walked out the following morning, and the guy's never shot a deer with his bow and is freaking out. We watched this deer for an hour and a half before he gets a shot opportunity on him, and he shoots the feeder leg underneath the deer and shatters his arrow. And so we shot the deer the following week, but that morning when we saw him, I figured he was going to be north of 180.
When Wade sent that picture, that group message between him and my
Whoa,
cousin.
hold on just a minute. Go down right there on the far right. What'd that deer score right there? Do you know?
He was
189.
Yeah.
Where was that?
A Monte
Monte
County.
County.
Yeah,
God
that's up there
almighty.
by.
That's around Nakona and shit.
Yeah, they got some giant deer up there on the Red River.
That is a big
Some
ass
big
deer. Good Lord.
It's cool that he's kind of still in velvet, too.
So what were you saying, Wade? You shot the 202.
Well, we had an opportunity to add that little buck to our stringer of opening
and
weekend,
then
and,
it hit
he shot the feeder leg and missed it.
So
but
was the 202 the
There
There's
he
biggest?
is.
Wade right there, and JT and Jake. Yeah.
I don't know why they put that picture of all. Scroll to the right there, Andy. One more.
Yeah.
There's
Good Lord.
202.
And 198. That's 198, right?
No.
that was what we scored him.
Oh, but
that
it would
day.
actually
and then we had a official Boone and Crockett measure score him to put him in the book, and he went 202 and 3/8.
Is that the biggest deer in Texas this year?
No.
No, there was actually one, which this is kind of
Yeah.
undercover, but there was a 209 shot in Albany this year as well.
Well,
The ranch nobody's supposed to talk about?
yeah.
No, and
No.
we can't disclose where it was killed, but that was the second biggest deer in the county this year.
It wasn't real far from where that.
That's
one
what's
was killed.
fucking
So the-
crazy is that's the second biggest in that county.
So the 209 that was shot is somebody that's on a private ranch. They don't want nobody to know because they don't want anybody fucking with their stuff.
Correct.
This guy's real private.
No, I mean it's like it's a game how secretive he can be on. Just
209.
yeah, and
What's-
shot it with a bow. I mean it was a
Well, what-
legit deal.
What's crazy, nobody else is going to get in there to hunt anyways. Y'all got that stuff. How many acres of deer land over there are cultivated good deer hunting property? How many? 500,000 acres?
Just on our side, the northwest part of the county, so it's the
From-
Knoll,
yeah.
Stasny's,
From 180 going west out of Albany.
on one. Yeah, that's
One-
JT's deer.
Really, I would even go ahead and say
God, he does look like fucking Les. Poor bastard.
Oh
Good
shit!
job, Jeff. Knock the light down. So how
and,
many?
And then our game warden is the deer right there.
So you were saying how many acres you have?
But I don't know. I think the line is just anywhere west of Albany. You could even go south of town,
West and north.
the 283 line,
Yeah.
all the way through the county.
That Callahan
anything
Divide that runs from Coleman to Seymour, that fault line, it's ranked.
I'm going to tell you what makes that area good is it's fucking tornado chase weather. It sucks right there because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
When you leave Haskell and you go towards Throckmorton, or if you go to Albany and you go back towards Stanford,
There are no
you can't-
roads
you can't-
back in there.
You can't go nowhere.
Reed Timmer messaged me on Facebook 2 years ago. He was at my entrance, and somebody told him to message me on Facebook, and he asked me, and we were in Munster, and I was like, son of a bitch, I missed
I
my
missed
Of
Reed
all
Timmer.
times.
I reached-
Yeah.
We'd have went all over that ranch chasing tornadoes, I promise you.
He's going to be on here in a couple of weeks.
Heck yeah.
So I can't wait to have
I'm
Reed on
fascinated
here.
with that guy.
But that area through there, you can't chase it all, Mike. When I'm chasing,
private land. There's
no
fucking
county
sucks.
roads, nothing.
I hate it. I mean, if I get to Haskell and a storm's going west, you're done. And even if it goes north towards Miller Creek, there's
Yeah.
nowhere to get through. You
Yeah.
can't get. There's nowhere to go in there.
What's that shit on his
Velvet.
Just
he's
velvet.
still-
Velvet that
he's
he
still
hadn't
in
rubbed
velvet?
off yet.
So his dad's the federal, or is he still a federal game warden?
I don't know if he still is, but Jake was raised up in Nebraska, and his
He-
dad's still involved. I think he's still a game warden up there. I don't know that he's.
I would
federal
love to
game
have a
warden.
federal guy on
Yeah.
with us.
And see,
Russ Mort's he's an awesome guy. We duck hunted
Jake's
with him
awesome
this year.
too.
I was
Jake played baseball at Nebraska.
really.
He's starting third baseman.
Oh, does Blake know this?
I don't know if he
Oh
does or
Jesus,
not.
if he does, oh boy, he'll be getting his underwear signed by him.
So do these deer that are this big, do they run around with like normal deer or are they just by themselves?
No, they all had
Yeah, I mean-
regular running buddies.
Really?
And the interesting thing is, we could have killed all of these deer last year, and they were kind of 170, 175 type deer, and
The wet summer.
we just all decided they look like they're 5.5. We're going to give them a year and chance it. And a lot of times one of those deer may have died during the winter.
Yeah.
Get in a fight, get sick. But yeah, we had a great spring and summer, tons of rainfall, great pasture conditions, feed, and genetics.
Hell, we go
So
quail hunting the other day and find a set of sheds that's going to be 180.
Wow.
Yeah.
Compared to this year, it's not looking good for next year.
No.
We need
No.
some rain bad. Like,
No.
you guys are battling fires every fucking time the wind blows, and we got a big
I
wind
keep
today.
checking my phone.
know.
My dad
The
just
wind-
called me, and I'm like, okay, he hadn't called back, so we're doing good. But it's been 13 minutes since he's called, so.
But, I mean, that's an issue.
Yeah.
Every fucking day it's an issue.
Jamie's lost 6,000 acres this year already.
And if we got rain, it would come back with greener and
Oh, yeah.
stronger and better, be okay. But it's not looking like we're going to get any fucking rain.
No.
We got a chance Monday.
I saw, Reed just now, I got a message that I'm on with them guys. Not Reed personally, so I don't want everybody thinking me and him are buddies because we're not. I wish we were. But they're big hailstorms tonight between Lawton, Oklahoma,
Saw that earlier.
and back to the east and a little bit further south. Well, fuck, it's just always 100 miles from us.
Yep.
And we need that bad. It's going to take bad storms for us to catch up on our rain.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell people, like, oh, we don't have no storms. We hope we get a little rain. Let me tell you,
We'll
the
take
rain
that
we
yeah,
need.
3 inches in
Well,
an
them
hour.
Yes.
Big rank thunderheads, it drops 3 inches in 45 minutes and
We
baseball
need
size hail.
the dry line where I go chase every day. It's muggy every day. And what do you always say, Andy? It feels like 1979 again.
1979. Walk outside, feels like Wichita Falls, 1979.
And but that's what we need. We need storms every day, and we haven't had them
Right.
at all. But that's what you need. Same with our quail. The quail population's way off.
Way down.
Turkeys.
Yeah, turkey.
Yeah. I mean, I would say countywide, the turkey population's way down.
Do you think the eye worms are hurting y'all?
On the quail, I think it's a combination of a ton of factors. And, there's been millions and millions of dollars spent in research on what's happened to the quail, and nobody has an answer.
No. Somebody said, shit, I was in business 5, 6, 7 years, so 25 years ago, said that quail will be extinct by 2010 or something, and native quail in Texas. Well, they're not very far off. They're not extinct, but they're fucking hurting.
The interesting thing, though, is you back up to like 2017, 18, really even 19. But we had great rainfall years, 40-plus inches. We had broomweed from one end of the county to the next, whether you stocked it with cows, whether you didn't have any cows, and there were quail from one end to the other.
Yeah, they come back fast.
And it didn't matter if you'd been managing for it, if you had cactus, no cactus, there were quail everywhere. And so, everybody always asks me, well, what's the deal with the quail? And my answer is it's all indicative on rainfall and the timing of that rainfall. I think you've got to have moisture throughout the summer months to, hatch your eggs, and then, you've got to have grasshoppers for the little birds to eat. And
We have
it's
not
just-
helped ourselves with the pesticides we spray. That has wiped out a lot of the bugs, which is part of their food.
Right.
And the moisture problem is the deal. Another thing, too, let's be honest, quail are pussies.
They're the bottom of the food chain. They're looking for a place to die.
Yeah,
they
all
really
the time.
are.
I mean, they don't fucking live very long, but they're pussies. They don't.
No.
They can't handle any kind of
No, they're terrible.
anything at all, and it stresses them out and they die.
Yeah.
And I hope they come back again. But I know that the what's the damn shit fire ants.
Yeah.
They say fire ants are really bad to them. And same
Right.
with pheasants.
But the interesting thing I was talking to somebody a couple weeks ago about the fire ants, but in those rainfall years, your fire ants show up when everything's wet.
Yes.
Well, those years when we had 40-plus inches of rain, there was a fire ant bed, every 6 feet anywhere you went.
Yeah.
And, we have an explosion of birds. So that I don't know. It's a weird situation.
Makes
I
sense.
don't think anybody really has the answer.
I never thought a freeze in February would affect the dove population
Oh
like
my
it did.
gosh.
And it
It
wiped
was-
out the dove
it was
population.
terrible.
Yeah. Had a guy message me today. They got a whole weekend booked, and he was like, did y'all get any dove back? I said, we've got white wings in town now are starting to come back. I said, the morning doves will repopulate. They're
Right.
real fast. I mean, they can go from bad to quick, to a ton of birds real fast. But I said, no one ever would have thought that a cold, because the birds that stay in the Dakotas, they're around it, because that freezing rain and that cold just wiped out. There was trees with 100 dead dove under them.
Oh, hell, during that snow apocalypse or whatever, I mean, you go
Just
out in the
driving down the
morning,
road.
and hell, there'd be 7 or 8 dead ones laying on your porch.
Yep.
They'd be on the bumper of the pickup. I mean, I don't know. It was.
It wiped them out.
I don't care to ever live through another one of those spells in
It
my
was terrible.
life.
Fuck no, I always wanted to live up north, but I was a Yankee for about 7 days, and that was enough of that shit. It was
No.
cold and miserable.
They're built for it though. Like we don't have the
No.
infrastructure here.
No.
Oh,
When the
yeah.
power went out, like they can laugh at us all they want up north. We were fucked when the power
We
went
got
out.
lucky. We didn't lose power not one time.
We didn't in my house either.
We did. We roughed it.
It's because I'm like the nails. It's just who you are.
It's
That's
just, who,
exactly
it's
what
just
it
who
is.
you know. Our power went off. I called Jeff. I was like, well, is it dark at your house? No. Nice and toasty. Lights are
Yeah.
still on. We're watching TV.
We lost it at the ranch because we have a big cake barn. It's got manual doors on it, and I parked all our tractors and stuff in there. When my dad went and got them and parked them in his new shop that has electric doors
Oh,
on
shit.
it. Power went out. Couldn't get anything out.
We I put on Facebook, I said, well, they're going to turn off all the grid except for 2 or 3 streets. And I said, and they're not going to on mine because I talked to the guy. And then they didn't do mine, but I was on the hospital grid. Well, I was just fucking kidding. Well, people thought, well, you fucking guy, judge right there.
You're the bad guy.
Yeah.
The damn judge.
Yeah, he fucking pulled strings and shit. That's a bunch of bullshit. Well, buy a house on my street.
There you go.
My kids were so excited though. Power went out. They wanted to camp out in the living room, and
Hell yeah.
we had a good old time.
You got a fireplace?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
One,
good.
Yeah.
one day, about day 4 or 5, it would have been enough, though.
Yeah, I mean, we were only with I don't even think we were without power for 48 hours.
Yeah.
I think it
Oh,
was just a
you
day
bet.
and a half.
Y'all have been moving in with us again.
Might have been having another grandkid. Never
Shit
know,
happens.
Jeff.
Well, we sure saved a lot of money on that not happening. Good deal.
Send the kids to Judge's house, and me and Jesse are going to rough it.
Well, I'll take the grandkids.
We'll figure it out.
You know what? I wouldn't mind having another grandson now. I wouldn't at all. Y'all go ahead. I wish I would.
I'll send you Miles for a little while.
That's fine. He's a little shit. I'd like enjoy being around him.
Oh, man. He got to come catch horses with us this morning in the dark, and then we went and gathered some bulls, and he got to trail some bulls up. He thought he was the coolest guy in the world this morning.
A kid can get more education doing stuff like that than he can in a school, especially today in school. I mean, fuck you. Well, I'm going to change the subject real quick. Not to talk bad about your son or get away from your son, but did you see where that fucking she-male or whatever the heck you call that thing that's swimming in Pennsylvania won the NCAA prelims
Yep.
today and setting a record and stuff? And the women's groups, where the fuck are they at? I mean, that is about as much against women as
Right.
can. And now the Time Woman of the Year is that fucking chick with the dick that's the hospital secretary, whatever it is, that thing, Rachel Levine or whatever it is, the guy.
Oh,
Biden put
Oh,
in for the
yeah, yeah.
Secretary of Health, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
that great big son.
Yeah, a big, fat, unhealthy, bikini-wearing fat ass is going to be called the
Yeah.
Secretary of Health.
Doesn't make
At least
sense.
get some fucker up there if he's going to be gay that's in shape.
Yeah. Like
You know,
Gay
but
Pete.
shit.
Let's put Gay Pete up there.
Yeah,
At
that's
least-
exactly right.
At least he can talk.
This just goes to show you that there's nothing that a man can't do better.
Yeah.
That's true.
We can even be women better.
I
than
mean,
women
and
can be.
the guy swimming has got a disadvantage. He's trailing a dick in the water. That's got to be slowing him down a little bit. I mean, shit, they don't think nothing of that.
There's nothing out there that a man can't do better than a woman, including being a woman. I'm sorry, I'm just speaking facts.
Nevada?
I think we're 4 years running. Ever since Caitlyn Jenner won it, there's been a man win Woman of the Year every year since Caitlyn Jenner. So, fuck, we're just on a roll.
I guess so.
I like my pussy without balls.
I do too.
I mean, what do you think, Wade?
Amen to that.
Wade's a little quiet over here.
No, I love it.
I love it.
But it just blows my mind that people accept this shit. Like, there's somebody right now that, oh, look at her. She is so brave. I'm so proud of her. No, she's
No.
got a dick. That ain't a her.
He's brave.
Yeah.
And the woman fighter of the year last year was a dude.
The woman fighter?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
no, oh, imagine.
How does that
Yeah.
work?
He transitioned to being a woman, and he
Well,
got
I
he got
know,
into
but I
cage
mean-
fighting. Toughest woman on the planet was a dude last year.
What
Well,
about the high school kid that was the wrestler? Like, didn't he like dominate and like hurt
Oh,
a bunch
yeah.
of girls or something?
So did this chick.
I want to see some dude, though, some UFC fighter come out a guy and beat the fuck out of that gal.
Yeah.
I do. I want to see him. And show, you're not fighting a woman, now fight a man.
Well, he can just
Yeah.
he
Like,
can just identify.
Andy
her.
said he could whoop Ronda Rousey's ass in a
I
heartbeat.
never said that. Fallon Fox was.
Yeah, I remember that now.
But I mean, this individual
Is a man.
went through puberty. Like, she didn't transition until her late 20s. So I mean, she had the testosterone for a long time, but she just dominated. That was the cover.
You know,
World's
damn,
toughest woman.
yeah, bullshit. There are guys making fun of him, and you know damn well the Pennsylvania boys swimming guy, the men's swim
Yeah,
team,
that
are making
guy.
fun of that fucking dude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I would be big time. I wish the girls at the NCAA meet tonight when they go to do that race. I wish all the other girls wouldn't swim.
Yeah.
Just let him swim by himself.
I don't
just
think
stand there. And
I don't
just
think
watch it go.
Fallon Fox disclosed that she had gone through for the longest time. I think she was just murking these poor girls, and then they were like, "Wait a second,
Something's up.
we need to look at
Reach
this."
down there and feel the Franken beans. Then you know damn well it's fucking not right.
I know there was a UFC fighter, or not at UFC, but an MMA fighter that didn't disclose that they had gone through.
Do girls wear cups?
I would think so. Have you seen the video? It's a street fight, and the
Yes.
girl is on top just beating the
Bites it.
piss out of this girl, and the girl bites her clit. Like, grab her.
And that girl goes from real tough to screaming bloody murder, like let go, because she, gets a mouthful.
No shit.
I'll
Yeah.
find it. It's hilarious.
Got the old
She's-
snap bean going.
She's beating the shit out of her, and she gets
Like
on
in
her
a
face,
bathroom?
and she reaches up and bites her right in the middle of it, and she gets real not tough anymore.
Oh shit.
It's
It's a pretty good fight for a little while.
But a guy fighting with a girl, it's
That's
as
stupid.
stupid as bullshit in the
No.
world. It's not fair for me to fight him. He flipped around and hit me with his cock in the head. It's not fair.
That's
Can't
like-
do that shit.
Why don't Cowboy just identify as a woman for one fight and go fight her?
Why don't you barrel race?
They got men's barrel racing.
That's embarrassing.
It is to me, but
That's embarrassing.
It's an
If
East
some
Coast
guy
thing.
come in here, cowboy guy, and he told me, I said, "What do? You a bronc rider?" I'm a
No, I'm a barrel racer.
I'm like,
I like my horses not running
Brokeback
off.
Mountain.
My
Yeah.
horses are told not to run off, so
Yeah,
Did you watch the American?
I did.
I missed it this
It's
year.
one of,
We were
that was
going
one
out
of the
town.
best rodeos I've seen in a long
I
time.
love that rodeo. I don't even watch the rodeos, and I like
They
that.
took that crossfire rule out in the team roping, and mister, it got wicked fast.
I'm gonna. One year I want to go to that. We were, I guess, in Mexico probably when that was on this year.
No,
We
last
weren't?
weekend,
No shit.
2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago.
Yeah, 2 weekends ago.
I want to. I love that. I watch that rodeo every
a good
year.
rodeo.
I'm gonna go watch y'all rodeo one time. I haven't
You
been
need
to
to.
Ranch Roundup since I was a single man, and I went just for the nightlife. The Wichita Falls Ranch Roundup,
Yeah, we're not in that one anymore.
before the little girl jumped out of the car and got killed,
Yep.
was a blast.
Hold on, I don't know what it just did.
Western Heritage, Mother's Day weekend. Come on,
There was really something going on that weekend.
Western Heritage.
Let me tell you something. That's the weekend Andy graduated from Tech, and Zach threw the biggest bitch cry fest about this deal.
Because he couldn't go
he
to the
couldn't
rodeo.
go
Oh,
to
he
the
was
rodeo?
fucking pissed the
Well,
whole
the
time.
Heritage is like a national holiday.
Well, it was for him. He was very upset the whole time. Just pissed. I just won't go. I don't want to have to go to this stupid thing. Blah 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 blah. So we drove home, and boy, we were home 3 minutes, and he was gone to the Western Heritage.
Damn right.
Pretty fun weekend.
Is Brown? What if Brandon's going to be selling his spurs up there?
Probably.
If anybody wants to buy a spur, what does he sell? Because I'm going to say the wrong shit.
Just buckles and spurs, and I don't know if he makes any bits or not right here.
Was it Brand? Is it Brandon Bradley?
Yeah, Brandon Bradley.
Spurs.
Bradley
Good kid.
Spurs.
Great kid. Good friend of ours. Is it one of Zach's best buddies?
Hang on, I'll rewind it. She does. She grabs a hold of that son of a bitch.
World star.
Oh damn.
Oh, she's whooping her ass.
Until here.
That was
Speaking like a Comanche.
Now the dude's kicking her. Oh, fuck that.
I got bit in a
That's
fight one
crazy.
night. Two girls were fighting, and I was the only one that would back it up. A bunch of fucking quail there, and them other guys were all pussies. They wouldn't do shit, and so I got in the middle of it, and I broke it up, and I stuck my hand in between them and pulled them apart. And this one girl, I'm not going to say the B word because she might whip my ass. And she likes to call me out on Facebook anyway. She bit me on the web of my fucking hand right there.
Hurt the
God.
baby?
Oh, fuck. And then the whole fucking, we were on a deck, not a patio deck upstairs. I can't remember what the hell you call the thing. The whole thing fell off. The building
Oh,
come
shit.
off. 2 stories, boys. The slowest ride down I've ever been on in my entire life.
how was the landing?
It was, for me, it was okay. But this girl with nice big hooters, she was hurt.
She's on the bottom.
She was hurting, and so she couldn't breathe hardly, and so Dr. Stanfield came in.
There you go.
I was like, hold on, I'm a doctor. So I was giving her a physical right there on the spot, and somebody put their light in my eyes. I was like, God damn it, take the eyes out. Oh, sorry, doc. And look up, it was a Wichita Falls policeman. I was like, oh, shit.
Whoops.
Ambulance got there. I kind of walked in the back and got away, and they was like, yeah, that doctor's here just a minute ago. And doctor's this one guy.
Doctor
went to-
left.
Doctor's gone.
I'm 19 years old. Maybe, I think I was 18. And this guy I graduated with school with 2 months earlier. So I was 18. 2 months earlier, goes, God, I didn't know Jeff was a doctor.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, he went through the quick course.
Damn right.
He went to the 90-day program.
Yeah. That's great.
That somebody's got to be a Democratic politician now, dumber than hell. God almighty.
We were watching the American, and like, how bad would it suck to be the healer because you do the heel first and then you do the head first. And there were guys that were missing the head. It's like, how the fuck? You got the biggest target.
It was funny because like the first round, to make it back, you had to be. It was 3-4 to 3-8, and you know Wesley Thorpe from Throckmorton, they were 3-4, so they're a high call team back. They had to be fast to win it. Well, they had a pretty odd steer. He just kind of slow poked it out of there. So you know that barrier's like, I don't know exactly how far it was there, but they had to really check up. Well, then that steer, when he hit the end of the barrier, he just kind of balked a little bit. Well, Cody caught him. Well, Wesley just tried to hurry up and rope him and missed him. But all he had to do was swing it one more time, and it was $50,000, you know. But we're not all in that same spot either, you know. He's just trying to be fast like he always is. But
it's just
yeah.
You're the biggest. To me, I've never roped anything in my life, but you'd figure fucking head's right there. It's huge. Just get the fucking horns and you just got to do. You're fucking your teammate.
That's simple.
It's that simple. I don't understand why people make it harder than it needs to be.
Who's the toughest guy? A fucking saddle bronc rider, a bull rider, or the guy that's a steer wrestler? If you had to pick,
Steer wrestlers.
that's what big
That's
bronc.
who you don't want to fight.
Hands down.
Yeah.
Just
They're huge.
walk away.
Have you rodeoed much?
No, sir.
You smart guy.
You
No.
beer drink at the rodeo.
Now
You bet.
you've done it all.
I've done a lot of it.
You have you rode a bull?
I'm not on. I mean, yeah, not like
In a rodeo?
No, not in a rodeo.
Would you?
No, hell no.
Well, you mean you aren't built to be bull riders?
Well, shit, I'm
They're
not
little
built to be a
guys.
bronc rider either.
Well, I understand. So a roper is what you're
My
built for.
ass in that saddle have gotten to fight a lot of times, and the ass is not won much.
That's the toughest guy. Like Clay Reed. Mm-hmm. Clay does a little bit of all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
But Clay's a different breed of cat anyways.
You don't say.
He's too big to be a bull rider. And he don't have the weight
But
balance.
back in the day, he wasn't.
No, but when we were in school,
Yeah.
Clay was not a big
No.
guy. He's just fucking crazy.
Shit, 10 years ago, he wasn't a big guy.
No, but he was a lot bigger than he was back then.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But I can't imagine riding a bull. All the
It's
guys
like the
I knew
wild
that
cow milking.
that's a
Yeah,
tough
that looks
deal.
like
That
that looks
makes no
shitty.
gosh damn sense. I've never once seen somebody ride a bull on purpose at the ranch. I damn sure ain't seen them milk a cow for the hell of it.
No, and I tell you what,
On the end of a rope.
I
Maybe
la-
put her in a chute and milk her in a bucket.
That's my favorite thing to go watch.
Yes.
Well,
There's
I'm
a lot-
glad.
there's a lot of out of shape motherfuckers
Yeah.
trying to catch that
Oh.
cow.
And they get there, they got one drip of milk left. Would you
Yeah.
just have to have a little bit to get out of there?
Just it's got to
One
drip
drop.
out.
One drip
gotta
out
drip
of it.
out.
It can be in the bottle, but if it does not come out of that bottle, it's a no time.
Well, I'm telling you what, I watch. The smart guy's the guy
love
who
it.
ropes the cow.
Down there by the
By
judge.
the damn jug.
Where you got a little
Yeah.
short jog.
Last time I was at the rodeo, when I got it at the other end, the guy's like, you dumb fucker, let it go. Let's get you back down
Oh,
there.
yeah. They got to haul ass all the way to the other end. That's the best part.
And
Yeah.
I got a mobility problem, so
See, I go to watch the crashes. It's like going to a sprint car race.
I got a funny video from the
unfortunately.
cow milking.
When I go
Oh,
watch,
yeah.
when I go to a sprint car race, I want to see someone get upside down. That's what I
See
go
if
to the
you can
races
send-
for.
Oh, for sure.
NASCAR, I want to see the fucking crash. So when I go to a rodeo, I want to see a crash.
See if you can airdrop that to the laptop and I can put it on the big screen
This
so
was
Jeff
it.
can see it.
This was at Red Steagall's Cowboy Gathering in Fort Worth.
Is he still alive?
Yeah.
No shit. How old is he now?
Old.
100?
Old.
He was a waiter at the Last Supper. He's an old fella, I'm telling you. He was old when I was fucking kid. He
We
always
were-
sings those sad cowboy
Oh, yeah.
songs.
We were there at the rodeo. That's been 4 or 5 years ago. And Jamie Nail's little boy Jack, at the time he was I don't know, 8 or 9. And Red walked up and said hello to him, shook his hand. Jack goes, "I'll be damned, that guy's name's Red Steagall, just like the rodeo." I said, "Yeah." I said, "He's the one
I'll
that
be
puts
damned.
it on, Jack." Yeah.
How old was Jack?
Hell, he's 8 years
He said,
old.
"I'll be damned."
I'll be damned.
I'll be damned.
We were at the Beehive one night eating dinner,
Did you get
and a
it?
family from Knox City, and a bunch of us went to eat. And this it was all couples, but this one couple brought their favorite kid they had. They had like 3 kids, but one of them was their favorite. And they go in there, and first we go through the salad bar,
Right.
and that kid reaches up and he's like, "Ooh, Daddy, what's that?" He said, "That's spinach." He goes, "Ooh, we don't like spinach, do we?" He took it out of his mouth and put it back in the fucking salad bowl. I thought, I ain't eating that shit. So I got it from the other side of the bowl. Then we sit down at the table, and they
Hold
bring
on a
this
second.
chicken fried steak up, and it's as big as this plate. And he goes,
Oh, yeah.
"God damn, Daddy, that's a big chicken fry, ain't it?" He's about 8 years old. I was like, "What the hell?"
So, one of our buddies, Callan Wills, is on our rodeo team. He took the brunt of this whole cow milking right here. You'll see. Just play it.
Shit, this is on TV and everything.
Oh yeah, Cowboy Channel.
Poor
Okay.
bastard.
Boy, that looks
Watch
shitty.
this.
Who rolled over on who there?
I rolled over
That's
on
what
top
I was
of Callan.
thinking.
You should have heard the air come out of him when I hit him.
About like that old,
Oh,
We didn't let go, though.
about like that old girl Les says you jumped on.
Oh, yeah. That's an old podcast. We don't bring up old podcasts.
so did Squirt like that old podcast?
No.
She did not.
No,
Was she
no.
mad at you?
Yeah.
Did your father-in-law like it? He didn't like it either.
I think so.
So it was.
Can we
just-
not?
you didn't want to talk
Her
about it.
name's Lacey, by the way.
Okay, so you don't want me to call her Squirt
No.
anymore. Okay, I thought that was like her nickname. Like everybody, that's just Les's name.
That's
That's just
Les's
Les.
nickname.
Les has a nickname for everybody over there.
Does he call her that all the time still?
Every time he sees her,
Does it piss her off, or does she not care if he says it?
she doesn't care if he says it.
The thing is, if it pisses you off, it's only going to get
Yeah.
worse.
We have
You
a
just
person
kin-
like
you
that
kin-
around here. It's called Jeff Stanfield. If
You
something
just
bothers you,
you kind of duck and go with it.
yeah. If someone works here and they're like, "That really bothers me," oh, that
Game
bothers
on.
you? Okay, well, thank you for letting us know.
Game on.
So,
That's the one piece of advice I want my kids to understand. Take a joke, laugh about it, and it'll be over tomorrow.
Yep.
But if you let it dig in, they're gonna
It's gonna
ride
get worse.
your
Yep.
ass
Oh yeah.
until
Yep.
the end of time.
forever. What did why, on those rodeos? Why don't y'all bring in some ringers, some real athletic people for certain things like that? Not that you're
Oh.
not athletic, but like Cedric from Albany. He's a very athletic.
There's
guy.
more to it than that.
What I
Okay.
think is you guys know how to use your body.
And we know how to read a cow,
Right.
and what her move's fixing to be. And if you got a guy like said, like if you give him the bottle of milk, like we won the cow milking 4 years ago, and I ran the milk.
No, I'm talking about a guy like him just holding on to the tail and then giving him the bottle and take off with it.
Well,
Still, I think that's like saying, why can't every NFL player just go dominate in MMA? But
Yeah.
like you guys have had a lifetime of like
Yeah.
using your body in a certain
yeah.
way.
And you know how to read the cow. You know what her next move is. You know how to just get a hold of her, and because when you get a hold of her head, your feet have to be in front of you. So when you get a hold of her, you just want to set like you're sitting in a chair. And as soon as your feet get behind you, you're going down.
I'm gonna go to one of y'all's ranch rodeos.
Why don't
this
you be
summer.
Why don't you be the runner, Jeff?
I damn sure ain't said he can fast. I just wonder why they didn't have young guys that were fast.
Our milkers,
A lot of times, I mean, most teams will have.
Yeah,
But
I-
it just kind of depends on how
It all
the
falls,
cookie
too,
crumbles.
yeah.
Because you may have it all planned out, and
there's
you know.
sometimes where the cow mucks everybody out, and the milker's the only guy standing, so he just gets a hold of her, and he'll just throw the bottle to the nearest guy, and it's your turn now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
I
it's kind
mean-
of like a chain.
Sometimes it happens.
For the people out there that don't know what we're talking about, is it 4 guys or 3 guys?
4 usually.
4 guys try to milk a wild cow,
Yeah.
and it's a
You
damn
throw a rope on her.
and hold on.
Yep. So you catch her around the head, legal head catch, which is neck forward or shoulders forward, no front leg in it or nothing. One guy will go to her head, one guy will go to her tail, one guy milks her into a beer bottle, and then run to a circle somewhere in the arena.
If that bitch don't want to get caught or slow down, she's gonna drag your ass all over that place.
Yep.
it's at Red Steagles every year that they have those
Horn
the
cow.
yeah,
They're
the cows with the horns.
They're crossbred horn cows, and they are.
They'll go to hooking it.
See, you're like me. You enjoy this, don't you?
Oh, I love going.
You're
and
watching your buddies get the
watching,
shit
yeah.
beat out of you like a dumb bastard.
I'm
When
gonna
is the Red
send you a
Steagle?
video of myself getting mucked out 3 times
Is that the one at the Western Heritage?
when he knocks my hair out. Do you have sound?
Yeah, I can. Turn
Oh,
it
it's
on.
Because the
It's
announcer goes, "Oh, she knocked his hair off because my hat leaves my head."
It's the greatest. We were all there, and I'll give Bucky credit. He stuck with her the
Damn
whole
right, I ain't
time.
got no quitting me.
No, but that bitch.
I want to know how bored the first set of Cowboys were. They were like, you know what? Let's go catch
We'll
that
make it
bitch.
an event.
Yeah.
Let's go catch that bitch and get some milk out of her.
When
The
is
cow
see who
milk
does
is
it the fastest.
It's the bull riding of the rodeo.
Yes.
That's why it's the
Yes.
last event to keep everybody there in the
Yeah.
seat till
it always kept me there.
because there's going to
Oh,
be
it's-
a good wreck somewhere in
every
time.
every time.
A rodeo. You know what? I like a rodeo. I do not like barrel racing.
I don't either.
It's fucking. They
No.
did that shit before. Nobody gives 2 shits about. It's like
Bull-
going to
bull
like,
riding the same
It's
way.
like going to track meet and watching
You don't
shot
like
or
the bull
discus. See, I do
No.
there because somebody's gonna get their ass beat off.
Well,
Anymore, they
well,
really don't. You don't see it as often as you used to.
No, those bullfighters, they're badass.
Yes,
Yeah.
we had
Weston.
Weston on.
Weston.
He's a very interesting kid.
Well,
For
some
sure.
bitch is badass.
But when is the Red Steagle? Where's it at?
Fort Worth.
Cowtown.
when is it?
Stockyards. October. 3rd weekend in
Nah,
October.
I'm busy in October. I'm going to Maine then.
You
But
could, you could slip away for a day.
no,
You could
we're
do
gonna,
that.
We're gonna go
you
to
could
Maine or
fly,
upstate.
You could fly out the next
Oh,
day.
here it is.
Just airdrop it to
I
my
would like
phone.
to go see that though because I enjoy that kind of stuff. But
Oh,
that's the kind of
that's
stuff.
a good experience because hell, I mean, everybody hangs out on the bricks all day. I mean, you go to the White Elephant at 2 o'clock. And
Now, I'm not a big drinker and
Now, do
party
you
like
do
you guys
no,
are.
you don't have to drink. You go for the people watching.
Oh.
Do I need to tell them about the?
No.
Yeah, tell me. This is a good story.
No, Bucky.
Yes.
I'll tell you after the
No,
podcast.
those are no fun.
I can't tell this one
No.
on here.
That's like when Clay tells a story and it's, well, I'll tell you afterwards. You know, it's a damn good story.
It's a good one.
And it includes his wife, or he would tell the story.
This is a
Otherwise,
fun,
he wouldn't
my
care.
wife and I haven't laughed this hard in a long time. That whole sequence of events.
That I'm about to show.
Bucky. Just,
No, with this story on Wade. Now you got to turn the volume up on this because Hadley Barrett, who passed away, is one of the greatest rodeo announcers ever lived. I mean, he's in the Hall of Fame, will be forever. Him and Bob Tallman they used to do the Heritage together. Now Bob and another guy do it, but this was one of Hadley's last rodeos, and it's just kind of fun to listen to him and Bob because we're all
something fucked up. Send it again.
we're all like family, and it's Bob talking shit to me is great. So I enjoy it.
So do you go to you don't go to the White Elephant on days that you have to do this, do you?
He's not a pro athlete. He's a wrestler. I mean, he's a cowboy.
He's a wrestler.
You got to get your fuel somehow. No, like on Fridays, I take it pretty easy. Saturday, if we've had a good rodeo Friday, Saturday I'll take it easy, and then Sunday, like at Steagall's, it's 3 days, so
I'm gonna ask you a personal question here.
Yes, sir.
Nothing about you and Squirt or nothing like that. What's it cost to enter one of these things, like for a ranch?
I don't really and truly. I don't know what. Probably the Heritage and Steagall's are probably $3,000 to $5,000.
What's the pay if you win it all?
The Heritage doesn't pay very good, and that's because we've all took a vote. They give awesome trinkets, like awesome handmade buckles, spurs. They give spurs or bits for every event, overall winner, and then spurs each night who wins the bronc riding, stuff like that. Steagall's pays pretty good. We're going to a rodeo in May in Graham, and it's going to pay, first place pays $60,000.
Damn.
It was $5,000 to enter, but it'll pay 60, 20, 10.
Okay, and the winner is split up between how many people's on your rodeo team?
5, and that rodeo's 5.
So y'all throw 1,000 in a piece.
Yep.
And if now, does everybody have to work for the nail ranch, or it can be just an assortment of?
You're supposed to on some of this rodeo, no. That rodeo, yes. So everybody on this team I neighbor with Chris Hubbard and them on the ranch to the west, so they're legal. And then day workers, you can have day workers.
So like if Zach Day worked for you and he was,
he's got to earn.
Thank God he don't ride nothing.
I want to say $1,500 in 1 year is
Okay.
all it is. So
somebody like the Wagner Ranch back in the day had a big advantage because they had fucking 60 full-time cowboys.
and they still do, yeah. So they might have a day worker if he's somebody that's pretty special, but for the most part, it's just all ranch kids. Like I heard the Wagner's got 2 teams now.
Really?
And then I know the Sixes did for a while. They had Guthrie and Dixon Creek.
Does tight ass Stan Kroenke, will he pay for them to enter, or do they have to do it all
I don't
on their
really
own?
know how that goes. I bet he does.
I wonder if that's changed but they had medical and all kinds of stuff there. Pretty good time.
Yeah,
401ks.
I've got a lot of friends that still work there, so I would say not much has changed if they're still there. Because some of them,
Is Josh Rodriguez still farming or cowboying?
I don't really think he is. Honestly, the last time I saw Josh, where was he? Me and Les ran into him somewhere. Might have been at Stanford one year. I don't think he's.
Last time I saw him was at Lake Kemp.
I don't know. I hadn't seen Josh in a long
It's
time.
been 5 years ago, probably,
Yeah.
or more.
Let's watch poor Bucky here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which one are you?
On the yellow,
Yellow
horse
horse.
in the middle.
Bucky will get you on the tail. Bucky went to the head. Oh,
You guys just calling you out, Bucky.
whop. Right there.
I'm turned around.
Yeah, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah, well, she mucked me out there. This one hurt. This one's what broke my ribs right here.
Oh.
Oh shit!
Ripped his hair off.
What a dickhead!
How you broke your ribs?
Yeah.
They say that's a miserable
Oh,
feeling.
it sucks.
How long was you down?
A whole month. But this right over here, this rib still pops out all the time.
Did you know, right there?
No,
that
my
you,
adrenaline was going so much I didn't have a clue.
so you didn't feel much.
Nope. Till the
Did
next
you
morning.
ever get this bitch down?
So Wade, you don't ever get jealous these guys want to be in part of that.
No, sir.
Okay,
Me
neither.
I'll stick to the ranch life. And
You be up there chasing the buckle bunnies while everybody else is. I mean, I know you're in a prearranged relationship now, but
No, those rodeos are. I mean, they're great fun, but I've just.
Now, your girlfriend, fiance, is it girlfriend or fiance?
She's just a girlfriend.
Just a girlfriend.
Jeff,
Potential fiance, right?
It's been 5 months.
Yeah.
Well, you should know by
Pump
then.
the brakes.
So, what does she do for a living?
She's a pediatric PA over in Abilene.
God damn, boy, what are you waiting on? Marry
I
her.
know.
She got a real job.
She's a good one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Has she been married before?
No.
Is she younger than you?
She is 27.
She's
30.
pretty good looking little gal.
Yeah. So.
You might have outkicked her coverage, son. You might
I still haven't met her. He ain't brought her around yet.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't?
Oh.
You haven't.
Hell, she was in the beehive the other night when Andy was there.
You
know
didn't
I-
introduce her to me?
Well, you were in the front room, and we were back there in the bar with
man,
old.
You know, it's
He
But-
don't.
So
yeah.
you're not
hard
going
to-
out of your way to bring her around your folks?
No,
Your
yeah,
friends.
no, she's been around the folks.
No, I'm talking about your friends. Then the people that really matter.
Well, we were gonna stop by Bucky's last weekend. We got tied up at another friend's
We understand.
ranch, and
Oh, so the other friends that are better than Bucky.
yeah.
what
See,
I'm
this I might
More
as well just
tame.
quit.
more
Have you
than-
met? Has Les Bowman met her?
No,
I don't. I can understand that one. See, but not Bucky. Bucky wouldn't embarrass. Bucky's a gentleman. He wouldn't embarrace you.
No,
Now, I
Bucky-
would embarrass
Bucky's
you.
great.
Les
I pour
would
a glass
embarrass
of wine
you.
and cook her a ribeye.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I can't. Smokey needs to meet her too.
Oh yeah. We'll get there.
Chopped liver.
How's the food stand going? Is that lady still calling in bitching about him all the time?
She hadn't in a while.
Oh, Uncle Mel.
Yeah.
I was going to call there one day and file a complaint on her behalf. I mean, really, I was going to work him over good, and
Oh,
I couldn't do it.
Jeff told
I
me.
think he was pissed off enough though that he'd have probably gotten mad about it. You know, most times he'd take that as a funny joke, but
No, I wouldn't let him know it was me.
there for a while he was, you know, it was a weekly occurrence that she was calling him in. And hell, the smoke, you know, your predominant winds out of the southwest. Well, she lives a half a block south of him, so the smoke wasn't even blowing at her house.
I would have done it so
Anytime
well.
he had a fire going, she just
I
called.
would have just ripped on his ass. I got a buddy of mine and he's dead now, but he bought. I don't know if I've ever told the story, but he bought he had a coffee table in his house. It was one of them wrought iron coffee tables. Had about a 3-inch fucking glass top, weighed about 500 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a black guy that worked for him, did odd jobs, mowed yards, cleaned up around that. Just helped him. A real nice guy. And we'll call this guy named Otis. I can't remember the names. But anyways, Otis, he told him, he said, hey, would you like this coffee table? My wife bought a new table. He said, yeah, I'd like that, Mr. Larry. He said, well, okay, you can have it. And they fucking got a couple guys and took it to his house. Well, the middle of the night, like the second night he had it, someone rang his doorbell in the middle of the night, and he went stumbling through the house, and he forgot that table was there.
Oh,
and he kicked it and kicked his little toe off. Stubbed it so bad it cut the toe completely off.
Oh shit!
So another mutual buddy of mine, he tells me about this. I said, oh, we're going to have some fun with this. So I called him up. I said, I'm going to call him Larry Smith, just in case his kids don't want to sue me over this. It's Larry Kemp. It don't matter. He's passed away a long time ago. Anyways, called up. I said, is this Mr. Kemp? Yes, it is. Yeah, this is Cleotis Johnson, attorney at law here in Dallas, Texas, and I represent Otis Muckmeyer. You know Otis? Oh, yeah. Now he works for you. He's in your employment, right? Well, yeah, he helps part-time around here. Now, I'm under the understanding that you gifted him a coffee table that was yours, correct? Well, yeah, I gave him that coffee table. But it was you bought that coffee table, right? Yes, I bought that for my wife about 3 or 4 years ago. So that is your table, correct? Did y'all exchange? Do you have an invoice or anything or a receipt that you sold this to him? No, I gave it to him. Okay. Well, you know that Otis has lost a small appendage on his foot. Yes. He said, well, we'd like to settle with you out of court for $50,000. What? $50,000. You can go fuck off. I ain't paying you shit. He got madder than hell, boy. I mean, he was pissed. We had to call him the truth so he didn't get on to Otis because poor Otis was not filing a lawsuit on him.
Right, yeah.
You know, he was worked up.
Yeah,
Otis, you're fired.
He was fixing to get fired. Yeah.
The exact word was like, this Cleotis, you can kiss my fucking ass. I ain't paying shit to you or in Otis. You know, he was hot.
Oh, that's great.
No, I'm not thinking of Larry. Never mind.
Larry's the one that gave us that table.
No, I understand, but I was thinking of the guy that was crawling up. It was Bob Hood with the crossbow.
Yes, he fell out of. It was an outdoor writer for the Fort Worth paper. He fell out of the paper and fell out of the tree.
No, I thought he had the crossbow over his back. I thought the crossbow went off and caught his arm.
I think you're right. I think that did happen. I can't
No
remember.
joke.
I said ask
Yeah.
Dad, but Dad's
I
not
bet
here
that
anymore
hurt.
either.
Yeah, he had it cocked and he was He was doing something. What was he doing?
I think that was him.
He had it cocked. He had it pulled back, and he was crawling up the ladder somehow, and he got it.
Had it.
He had it somehow extended his arm, and it got in between the
Those
strings.
those things are cool, but they're dangerous as hell. I mean,
Yeah.
I never tried to call and pull one on Bob Hood,
No,
but
but
I did Larry.
like I think it like pulled his bicep off and
Yeah,
all
it
sorts
did.
of shit.
Gosh,
I mean,
damn.
it just fucked him up. But so what was your first big deer that you shot? Like when you were, and how old were you?
so my uncle gave me a bow when I was 12 years old. And Casey Jones he's a family friend of ours. I've grown up around he and his family, and he owns the Newell. And he said, if you'll learn to shoot that bow, you can come out to the Newell and kill a deer. The only problem was it was a right-handed bow, and I was left-handed. So I shot a pillow in my backyard at 12 years old till I could figure it out and hit the target. And so at 13, he invited me out. I shot. That was my first buck that I ever killed, and he was a 140-inch, clean 10-point, beautiful deer. But a 13-year-old boy,
That's a monster.
That's a big deer.
I was just as excited shooting that as the 200-inch deer. And so, grew up, got into high school, worked for the ranch during the summers, and hunted throughout high school. And then college, I kind of took a break. And my initial plan was to move out to Midland and be a landman. And when I got out of school in 14.
Boy, you made a bit wise choice.
Well, I mean, it's a pay cut out there, but it's a great life.
You enjoy your life?
I love it every day.
That's winning.
I wake up, I don't feel like I have to go to work. So, but anyway, long story short, that kind of fell through. We were in a drought in Albany. My dad needed help on the ranch, and the pieces just kind of fell into place, and started working for the Joneses. And so, over the course of the last 6 years, I've killed a good deer every year. But
I would say that a good deer.
A good deer, decent
deer.
deer.
I got married on opening day of bow season in 2016.
that was my first year, I guess, working for both ranches. And
He couldn't have left that wedding reception
no,
any quicker. He went to the hotel, got him some sleep, and his ass was in Albany the next morning.
and I told
And that
her
evening, he killed that deer that he was after.
Did you introduce him to your girlfriend before you got married to her?
Yeah, probably the first time she ever
Ain't
come
that
to town.
crazy?
You damn right.
No,
I was so damn proud of
no.
Lacey, I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
no. Bucky posted a picture on that was probably Facebook back then.
MySpace.
But had a picture of
Yeah.
a beautiful blonde holding a dead jackrabbit, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what's he
Bucky's
doing
in
now?"
love.
Yeah,
Where'd he find that blind girl?
Shit, right?
Bucky is in
No.
love.
Lacey, she's a great gal.
How big
straight
was the
girl.
deer that
Old
you shot
squirt.
on his wedding?
He was like 164. And
a nice deer.
Yeah, he was a great deer.
What do you do with all these deer? I mean,
I'm running out of wall space. If
That's
you,
what I'm
if
saying,
You need a couple
because-
for the lodge. We can.
I'm
because
running out
that's
of wall
what,
space here too.
because like you shoot the 160 and that's like the biggest deer. So you mount it, and then
Right.
the next year you shoot another deer that's bigger. So you mount it. Now you're at 202.
Yeah.
So what do you do with the 160 that you got on the
No,
wall?
I
He's
mean,
still
they're-
there.
He's still there.
Saw him today.
The thing is, it's like Bucky said. That like each deer, it's like each duck hunt, goose hunt. Like
Right.
they've all got
got their own
stories and background, and so the deer I shot last year, 2 years ago, we had an oil field pumper that found 2 bucks that were locked up,
That's badass.
and one of the bucks was already dead, and so
You have that video?
yeah.
Here, drop it to Andy and put it up there. This is freaking wild. Wade shooting the horn off this deer.
And
Dude.
I
so-
saw that the other day.
Well, there was one. They had one up in like Canada of a like park ranger doing it.
He shot the horn off so
Yeah.
they could get free.
Yeah. I saw it just a couple 3 days ago. I saw the video. It may have been you.
Didn't somebody steal ours? We had
No,
two
I've got it up
you
there. I had
got
a guy
it back?
trying to steal. A guy that does TV shows. I'm not going to say the cocksucker's name. Was out here doing a filming a show about. He might be dead now too. It's about 15 years ago, and had my fucking set of horns we
The
found.
ones that are hanging up?
Yes,
Yeah.
had him in his fucking trailer. And Tony walked by and goes, "What are you doing?" Oh, I was going to take some pictures with this. He said, "Fuck that," and grabbed them some bitches.
I found
from
a
him.
set last week locked up.
That's cool.
Yep.
Big deer.
No, they weren't big.
120 or 30 inch deer.
Yeah.
About like my deer.
Yeah. I mean, I was sure proud of him. It was my first locked up set.
When we saw that though, we thought, God, from way off, I was
yeah.
like, son of a bitch, that's fucking 200-inch deer because they
Yep.
got all them horns together,
Yep.
and then you get to them, and you see what it is.
Hang
Yeah.
on, my phone's fucked.
But so anyway, that deer. So we agreed. We said, okay, that deer's had a near death experience. We're going to give him a year, see what he does. And so
Send it again. My phone's fucked
Hey, I got to get this.
up. Go ahead.
anyway, I wound up shooting the deer last year, But he was a deer that for about, I guess, 2 months after we found him locked up, we never saw him again. And so we just assumed he was in bad shape, and we thought, hell, he died. He's a lost cause. And then he showed back up kind of the middle of October the following year. And so
the deer I'm interested in is the one that had the big club sticking off of it, the big
drop tine.
That to me, that's a cool deer because it's character.
Oh, no doubt.
Your 200 class deer is a record because nobody's going to do it. But,
but I like a traditional.
Okay, this is a video. This is different than the one I must have seen the one in Canada.
Yeah, but this is right out there west of Albany. Scoped me, knocked my hat off.
You got scope eye. Well, you were concentrating on that deer though.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
That's awesome, man, right there. Can you put this up on our Facebook page, Andy, for people?
I probably could.
Put that up on our Facebook page. Go to the Big Honker Podcast private group page.
So,
I just want to know why you use such a small gun.
I want to know why you scoped yourself.
Okay, well, that's a funny story. So I had a 6mm Creedmoor, and I'd actually shot that antler 2 previous shots, and that bullet wasn't big enough. It was just punching holes in it. And so I got a big gun out and
scoped yourself.
The third shot was the charm.
Did it mark you at all?
No, hell, it just knocked my hat off.
So we had a guy out here. He was pig hunting and city slicker. He's actually friends of one of my really good friends, and he was out here pig hunting, and he got like right up on that fucking scope.
Gosh.
And he shot, and that motherfucker from one end of his eyebrow to the other was just a perfect ring.
We called him scope eye.
Called him scope eye for the rest of the time.
Hell
He was
yeah.
like, "My wife's gonna be so pissed off.
She's gonna be disappointed.
She's gonna be disappointed in me." Is what some great big hunter he is.
Oh yeah.
Came out here and got the fuck knocked out
Did you
of
have
him.
a black eye from it?
No.
Oh, that's good. Deal. Okay,
But it ringed him.
The big deer, the drop tine deer.
Right.
Had you seen that deer the year before?
Yes, sir.
Did it have a club too then?
He had a drop tine the year before. He probably had a 6-inch drop tine.
So it wasn't like that one.
No, well, I mean, it was the same side, kind of at the same angle, and then he showed up on camera this year, and I was like, oh, my gosh. And so it wound up, the main drop tine was 12 inches, and then he had a 4-inch kicker. So he had 16 inches of drop tine.
I saw a picture the other day of one down at somewhere down in South Texas with the Muy Grande. One of them pages has a contest or something.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker looked like it had a gourd.
Right there at the base of his antler?
Yeah.
That was awesome looking. But stuff like that is really cool just because of the characteristics of it. I've seen a drop tine deer 2 times in real life.
Right. No, they're very rare.
Do you see them very often?
It's interesting. So the ranch north of Albany, which is where I shot that deer, we get, for whatever reason, it's out there on the Clear Fork of the Brazos, and we get a lot of drop tine deers, a lot of kickers, just more character. The Newell, like I said, it's a little over 20,000 acres, and this year I didn't have one drop tine deer on camera on the whole ranch. And there were 3 or 4 out there north of town, which none of them, were as substantial as that one. But
So,
Bucky, I've got to give your book
a-
back to you too. Wyman borrowed it and read it in one day.
Did
You
he
read
really?
it one day?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a
Fort
good
Griffin?
book. It's a great book.
You like it?
Yeah, I
That's
like
good
it. I
book.
love that kind of stuff.
Did you finish the Comanche Moon book, Rising?
90% of it. I
that's a
got
good
to about 10% back. You want to borrow it?
No, I got it.
I'll tell you a really good book. If you read Black Pearls, the pirate book, that's a good book too. I started watching. There's a new series out now that was on Hulu. I might have told you about this called My Son.
You said about it earlier.
And it's about the Indians in Texas in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and
The Son.
just
Pierce Brosnan.
yeah.
So
have you seen it?
Y'all were
I saw the
talking
first-
about Tecumseh
Yes.
with Wyman. So that Indian reservation he's talking about is just right there north of the ranch, and that was for Tecumseh. And Tecumseh Creek's right there, and that
So
reservation.
it was him then.
Yep. And
Okay.
you can still see he was a Comanche though, and then there
What
could
did
have
we
been.
say? What did I look up?
I thought he was from up north somewhere though,
Well,
in
this
Ohio.
I don't know, but he was a Comanche.
Maybe Crazy Eagle was the one I'm thinking of, or War Eagle. One of those had a tribe, and they were on the Ohio River.
Yeah.
And the Wandadas and all them tribes, they brung them all together to try to keep the white man. They said Kentucky was the best hunting in the world. That was the place to go, is Kentucky.
I know they find lots of arrowheads in Kentucky.
It was the place to go because all them rivers come through the Cumberland Pass.
Yeah.
And that was the big thing. Was
There's been elk there.
Yes,
Deer,
and,
everything.
And Daniel Boone's one of the biggest sellouts in the world.
Right.
He really was. He didn't pay taxes. He
Right.
he was either a piss poor Indian fighter or he was not very smart because he would get his shit stolen. The Indians would let him go and trap all this shit, then they would rob him blind every year when he was going back to sell his shit. It happened more than once.
When we go right around the Matthews, that whenever Saturday or Sunday, I'm going to take you to that reservation, and there's a monument there that has got a little bronze marker that tells the story of
I want to see
Tecumseh, and it's the Comanche Indian Reservation. It's really, the dugout's right there beside it and everything on the Matthews. It's pretty cool.
I'm going to do some studying in the next couple of days, and so next time we have a podcast, I can actually say whatever it was.
Any of these pictures, anything that looks remotely close to what the
Tecumseh Ranch, that middle one, or everything in the second row.
Second rows.
Yeah, that ranch just sold.
That's all where he was. Okay, there it says Throckmorton right there.
Yeah, so that ranch just sold. So it's on the Putnam. It actually starts at Dawes Crossing on the river, which was on the Putnam Ranch, and they just sold part of that, and it run across the Putnam onto the Tecumseh.
Is that his monument right there?
Yeah, I bet so.
Let me see. Yeah, oh no, that's Camp Cooper.
Uh-oh. What's the difference?
It's just right up from the reservation up the river.
That was a wild land that the government was trying to establish.
That's where they tried to. That's where they tried to help. They held a bunch of Comanches there, but heck, that wall ain't this tall. I don't know how they.
That was some short Indians.
The
They're
wall.
like Mayan.
There's a wall.
They were like Mayans.
It's a hand built stacked flat rock wall that's for 4 miles one way by a mile wide. I mean, it's a big.
That was the reservation.
That
borders.
was a reservation. Yeah.
And that was it.
Yep.
I tell you what, New Mexico is fucking depressing to drive through.
Up until you get to the mountains.
Up until you get to where you're going, those reservations, or not even the reservations, just the towns
ranch
in
land,
general.
Yeah.
So everybody's in fucking trailer houses that are mashed together with mismatched tin roof and fucking tarps everywhere.
Tires on top.
Yeah, tires on top.
And the motherfuckers don't ever move none of them. It's not like they go to sell the tires.
No.
You're not going to move it.
Yeah.
If things get so bad, you got to put them tires back on them. Things are some bad stuff. But
I did. I told Jesse we were driving through. I was like, God damn, I got to get out of this.
Nebraska, when you go through the reservation there, and the funny thing is, you be the reservation, it looked like a shithole. You know, everybody just throws their trash out and crap. And then you get past them, and then you see all these successful farmers, and think somebody's not doing something right here.
Right.
You know. All the way up all around the reservation, things are growing and prosperous and good, and all the free land that they had is not good. And I know they got some shitty free land given to them.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they kicked them out of the good areas in South Dakota.
Because they found gold.
You know, but that's...
Now, do you have... I always get it mixed up. Is it Fort Griffin or Fort Griffith?
Griffin.
But that's on your ranch.
No, it's on the
right
neighbor.
next to it?
Actually, JT Bowman lives in the town of Fort Griffin.
Oh, really?
His house is from here to the guide's house from Fort Griffin, from the main street. Right
what
there.
all's still there? Anything?
Yeah, there's some. So the original jail's there. Mm-hmm. There's one other original building. I can't remember what it was called. In there, they rebuilt some replicas from the, like the dry goods stores.
Is that where they have the Fandango at every year?
No, the Fandango's in town. We usually have the sampler. They do a little member sampler in April every year. And we usually have it right there. But this year we're doing it at Reynolds Bend on the Matthews.
Well, I'm going to tell you, that was that book is a great book, and I highly recommend it for anybody that likes history. I want to get it back to your mom. I had some other people wanting to use it, and I was like, no, I better not do it. I want to get it back.
Wyman only.
Yeah, I trusted Wyman. But it tells the story of what a rough...
Dude, it was crazy.
In the whole, we talked about this a lot. There's some stinky ass women.
Oh, gosh.
Man, I'm tell you right now.
I mean, Fort Griffin was a rough place.
All them places, Dodge City, Rath City, all them places were because...
See, Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, they were in Fort Griffin before they all went to Dodge City. And see, General McKenzie, who helped fight at the Battle of Adobe Walls, his troops were at Fort Griffin, and they actually moved them to the river pasture on the ranch. And our crossing's called McKenzie Crossing because his troops were so wild. They were just tearing the town apart. They'd get drunk and just shoot holes in the walls, and so they had to move them out of there.
The black troops were better troops because they were more disciplined.
Right.
And that book talks about that, about the the black troops are so much better to do because but the McKenzie's guys, they call them McKenzie's Raiders.
Yep.
They were horrible.
Oh, they're awful.
But that's what you needed to fight those people.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And then the story about I had a guy ask me about this the other day about the Wyman deal. He goes, they seriously gave the Indians liquor. I said, well, yeah, but they would trade with them, but they would make them be a long way away.
That's the funniest. When Wyman was telling that story, I was laughing because I knew what he was fixing to say. Because that's the honest to God truth.
And people don't realize, and that was a very common practice at that time.
So
liquor'd be north about 2 miles, and then they would head south as fast as they could get. So
because they would renege on their...
Yeah, they were going to come, they'd hold them up, rob them, and take what they traded and what they got, and you were left with nothing.
That old saying that Clay says, drunken, what's he say?
10 Indians?
Drunken 10 Indians, he ain't lying.
And those Comanches were, whew.
When I went to a liquor store in Prince Albert, Canada, and outside was all Indians. Passed out, sitting around, bumming money coming off, and they just, that fucking booze.
Speaking of blacks, listen to this fucking video. This is a rugby player for the All Blacks in, what is it, New Zealand? Is that what it is?
Yes.
This listen to him fucking tell this story. You thought your broke ribs were bad?
No, he's going to have to the guy wasn't taking on a cow, though.
I don't care.
Yeah,
The rugby's tough.
Yeah.
And I don't know who this fucker is.
Wayne Buck Shelford.
Buck, he must be tough.
Got booted right in the face and I lost sweet teeth on my right hand side. So I just carried on, got on with the game. And then about 10 minutes into the second half, and as I stood up, Daniel kicked me right in the nuts. And it bloody hurt. And I thought nothing of it. And I carried on playing. And then the All Black changing room was very, very warm and very, very quiet after a loss. I decided to get dressed. I stood up, ripped my gear off, pulled my strides down. And then one of the guys from across the room, and they said, "Holy shit, look at that!" One of my testicles has been ripped right out of the scrotum.
Oh, God.
He didn't even know it. Played a whole fucking rugby game with this.
They got all tied up and put back together.
Got tied it up.
And, just these things do happen. And you're still
Jesus
You
Christ.
call him sir.
Yes, sir. But I mean,
That hurts. I've said on mine a few times. You get older, they start falling down a little bit more.
I had a
just
horse
said on
stumble
mine.
with me this morning, sat on one, and
right in the saddle.
Every time.
Just mashed it.
I went to boxers. I went from boxers to these jockey briefs, the Cool Wick ones. Keeps them boys a little closer.
I ain't worn a pair of underwear since 7th grade.
You and Blake Poppy.
Never, I swear, my best friend's dad growing up told me that real cowboys didn't wear underwear, and I threw them all
Heard that.
away.
My uncle doesn't wear underwear.
My mom bought me underwear every year for Christmas till I graduated high school, and she finally said, "Time to give up."
To hell with it. Does that not like check? Because you got listen, the Wranglers, they're not the most broken set of jeans. They're kind of
That's why,
starchy.
you don't wear, that's why you don't wear Wranglers.
What do you wear? Levi's?
No, I wear 511s now. I used to wear Levi's.
But like it's got a chafe.
It's good.
Especially sitting on a
well,
horse all day.
You get calluses.
Wade knows what I'm talking. You get calluses. Your nuts are calloused. by
Wait,
the
you
time.
wearing underwear?
No, sir.
You don't wear underwear either?
No.
Must be an Albany thing.
It's an
It must
Albany
be.
thing.
It's an Albany, Texas thing.
Well, as you get
Two
older,
girl quick draw.
as you getting older, you'll start sitting on them things. Did you see the guy on YouTube that come out of the bathroom and the guy was pissing and pulled his shorts up? And Zach sent it to me. Zach goes, "This got to be Coach Steele." Coach Steele takes a piss. He pulls his
Moves
shorts
his
up.
shorts out of the way. That's how he pees.
I'll go in the bathroom and you'll see an ass cheek in half. And
I got
Pull them to the top.
Yeah.
I got a funny story talking about getting older and your nuts. I won't name any names, but there's some brothers in Albany. You know one of them very well. Anyway, he's a hunting guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're all at the river with their wives. They're going to cross the river. Well, the river was running pretty hard. So all the guys strip down their underwear. The girls take the clothes and they get on their shoulders. So they're walking across the river, and one of them's nuts decided to kind of float out, and they're just kind of floating in the river there. One of them said, "Look here at G's nuts or G's life jacket floating away," and every one of them got tickled so much they damn dumped their wives in the river.
I took a picture of Ron. That's how Ron pees too. So that's one of the last
Really?
pictures of Ron that I have on my phone, if I can find it, is of him taking a leak in this bathroom right here with his. That's the kind of pictures you take.
Of course.
But you were talking about just tough people. I mean, whiskey was about the only anesthesia back. Not even an. I mean, that was all you had to blunt the pain.
Whiskey and a burnt piece of metal to sear it,
Yeah, that's how they seal you up. And then the Indians had they had their own medicine to do stuff with.
yeah.
Let's don't kid ourselves. The Egyptians could take an appendix out in the days of the pyramids. So,
What?
yeah.
They would take
Here
an
we go.
appendix out.
This is going to be 687-4. Look it up.
I'm looking for Ron taking a
Okay.
leak so I can show everybody.
Coach would pee that way, though, and he'd pull his old shorts up in there, and I'd walk in the bathroom, and there'd be a bunch of people, and they'd always be looking. I'd go, "Nice cock."
Think about how bad childbirth was.
Oh my gosh.
Just let
But
it happen,
say,
lady.
They say after natural childbirth that, though, the women don't hurt that bad.
I don't
They
know.
say the recovery is, if for natural childbirth, they say after the baby's out that they don't feel, it's not near as bad for them. That coming back is all the anesthesia and the
Yeah.
epidural and all the other shit, except the burned up hoochie.
Lacey had a C-section, so
That's the best way to go.
She was down though. Golly.
Yeah, it takes you a while because
Oh.
you can't stand up. You can't do
No.
anything. You can't even like pick up the baby for a long
Nope.
time, can you?
Nope.
Pop a stitch.
Yep.
I wonder what the
When's the new baby due?
5 weeks.
Whew.
you missed Mexico because of it.
I did.
Is your mother-in-law going to come stay with y'all for a long time?
I bet she does.
That makes things a lot better for you.
Yeah.
I mean, when Payne was born, Michelle's sister stayed one day, and she's like, "Okay, we're gonna go." I'm like, "Whoa, hold on, where you going?"
I'm telling you,
Wait a second.
Well,
Stick
hold
around.
on.
Wait a
I
second.
thought you'd be here till he's like 2.
when Miles was born, you know, they gave him like they were like, "All right, let's go." And I got Miles, and we're walking, and they're like, "We're gonna sew Lacey back up," and they take me to this room, and it's just me and Miles and a nurse, and I'm like, "Can I get my mom, please?"
Yeah, I don't know
I
what
don't
I'm
know
doing
what the
here.
hell I'm supposed to be doing.
It was swaddling hard for you. It was tough for me to learn how to do.
It took me a little while, but I got her down.
Yeah.
Lacey made it look like it was just folding a
There's-
napkin.
Yeah, no shit. It takes forever. Or just quick as hell. And
Yeah.
then for me, I'm got that some bitch upside down. I got a baby hanging out here and an arm here. And I'm like, something's not right here.
Yep.
And changing diapers.
That's what we're on.
Just like, that's the way Coach would be right there.
Pull the old leg up. Let the old
awesome.
ding-a-ling dangle and
Dad would laugh his ass off. He saw that.
That's
one.
doing it.
Great.
I think that's the last picture I have of him. What day did he die?
June 20.
Oh no, I got others. That was May 1st.
June 23rd.
I was going turkey
Some
hunt.
month.
I was going turkey hunting, and there he was. That's how I walked into him.
Well, I tell you what, cancer wrecks tough old fuckers, though, boy. Whew.
Do you?
Bad drug.
Do
Or
you
bad deal, I mean.
So people back in the old days, they probably didn't live old enough to get cancer.
Oh, there a lot of people died of cancer back
You
then.
think so?
Oh yeah, it just
They didn't know
It
it.
was
They
something
didn't know they
else.
just something got him with the cancer. But it's funny, you can even you can read old historical books and they'll talk about cancer. They just knew it was a wild mutant cell. They didn't know much about it.
Right.
I don't think they could even start doing anything for cancer other than cutting it out of you until the 50s or 60s maybe. I don't know when they started doing chemo, and that's some bad shit. I remember my dad had a fireman he worked with, Don Hart, and I remember as a kid, Don always liked Don. His son Bubba was a big football star when Wichita won the state championship one of the last years. So I grew up hearing about Bubba all the time and Don, and we went to the hospital, and Don was on chemo. They had the drip going, and we went and visited him at the hospital. He was a good friend of Dad's, and I remember that, and that would have been in mid-70s, probably 78,
Yeah.
79. So they were doing chemo in the 70s. I don't know when they started doing it, but it's a
My brother lost a leg at, what, 34?
Probably.
Yeah.
they cut his leg off.
Yeah. It was either that or die. That's what
And
they told
it's-
him.
did
What
he
did he
survive?
have?
Yeah.
Like bone cancer? Or what?
Yeah, sarcoma tumor. So he's never been a cowboy, nothing, and he wanted to come work calves. And the first day, the first calf kicked him right here in the inside of the knee, and it never would heal. So he went to the doctor, and they said that cancer was there, but that impact's what stirred it up.
Really?
So really, it saved his
Saved
life.
his life.
So he did his first round, got well. 6 months later, it came back, and they were just like, "Okay, here's the deal. Let's cut it off." So
I went to school with the guy that had one leg, and that's what they did for him. They cut his leg off in, I don't know, he was probably a freshman. Somebody could play basketball, one hopping, going around shooting basketball. But anyways, I saw where he died like 15 years later.
shoot, it's been longer than that because me and Lacey were 2004 or 2014 is when it
14.
happened.
8 years ago,
So 8 years ago, he'd have been 32.
and that's when he got cancer.
Yep, 33.
Cancer's a horrible freaking deal. I'm telling
telling
you
you.
right now, and it's I don't know. I mean, as good as medicine is, it might be the only way God has to have people die.
Yeah.
It's such a horrible disease. It hits so many people, and you see kids have it, and you just don't understand why. And
We're below replacement, so it doesn't matter how many people die. Elon Musk says in 100 years, the biggest problem at the end of the century is going to be we don't have enough people.
Well, by God, you went to New Mexico. Were you struggling for people to eat, to workers?
That's what Elon Musk is trying to tell you, Jeff.
I was agreeing with you on that. I said you're right.
The biggest problem in 100 years at the end of the century, so not even 100 years, is we don't have enough people.
I think
to
we got
do
enough
shit.
people. We just got too many fucking lazy people.
There's
No.
a lot of
Yeah.
lazy people in this
People
world.
don't want to work.
We're below replacement already
Let's
in America.
let's talk about old Wade here for a minute.
Okay, talk about old Wade.
Wade's a single man, 30 years old, goes to work every day loving what he does. You don't have a real job, basically. You got a job. It's not a real job compared to some poor fucker slapping
Sitting in
come
an
on.
office all
Big
day.
Macs
Right.
together,
You've got stressful days, I'm sure.
Oh, there's no doubt.
So see there,
But
calm down. Jeff.
it's enjoyable. I enjoy what I
I'm
do,
not-
and that I feel like that makes a difference.
Yeah, I'm not knocking what he does.
Right,
He's smart.
right.
He's a smart. You're a smart guy. But I'm saying people like us at this table right here don't have real jobs. We have days or jobs. There's no doubt about it. But
For
we're not
sure.
8 to 5 punching a clock, getting in a vehicle. I mean, we've beat life on a lot
Right.
of goals. The problem is we got too many fuckers out there that don't want to do shit. They want to sit home and get a check and be on an iPhone all day, and they don't want to work, and they don't want to advance themselves at all. And that's where we're a problem. It's not like we don't have enough people. We got too many fucking lazy people. Wade was just an example of someone that works smart, not hard. I'm not saying you don't work hard.
But in 75 years, we're not going to have the people, and we're going to have the lazy people.
With people like Wade, do you have any kids, Wade?
No, sir.
It's back to Wade again. You got to start. You gonna knock this girl up? You got to have some kids, Wade.
How old did you say she was? 27?
27.
Tick,
Yeah.
tick,
Y'all better
tick,
get going.
tick. Yeah.
Well,
Well, there's a
You're gonna
couple
look-
other steps that you have to take care of before.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You don't have to be married first.
I'm thinking with her family, you probably do.
With
yeah,
his
it-
family.
Well, the
It'd be-
Mormons, that's the
yeah.
way they are, these prearranged marriages.
oh yeah. My parents.
You're gonna look
probably-
up and be 37 like me and have a little one fixing to be here.
Yeah. It's all right. I got time.
So is your
got
mom and
time.
dad for you to marry this girl? Has that come
Oh,
up?
I mean, I mean,
Whatever makes Wade happy.
We're getting in that little zone right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Whatever makes Wade happy.
So Wade,
No, they love her. I
They
mean,
do?
they've been around her, and you know,
many-
like Andy said, my mom's one of the sweetest ladies on this earth, and she's always said, as long as you're happy, I'm happy.
that,
His
and
mom's
moms,
actually
and
the
moms mean
sweetest
that
lady.
too.
Yeah,
moms
and,
mean that.
And
But do you have any siblings?
I've got a younger brother.
Does he have any kids?
No, he's in.
So your mom's wanting grandkids.
yeah, she.
Okay, there you go.
They're rooting.
Yeah, they're rooting.
They're kind of nudging their shoulder every
So
once
does
in a while.
Lacey? Does Lacey have any sisters or brothers? In her
Who-
name
who-
Lacey.
Lauren.
Madeline.
Madeline. I'm sorry, Madeline Jones,
she's-
right?
Jordan.
Jordan. Madeline Jordan. Well, I was way off on
You're
this deal.
fucking this all
He
up.
works for
No,
Casey Jones. That's right at the Jones.
yeah,
Yeah, Casey has a daughter named.
So Madeline, does she have brothers or sisters?
She's got an older brother and an older sister.
she has nieces and nephews.
And they both got kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her parents are not pushing for you.
No. No.
Okay. So this is a one-sided affair on the parents pushing.
Pretty much.
Do her parents like you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I read a lot of body language during the podcast, and when people cross their arms like that,
They're nervous. Are you worried about what I'm going to ask you?
I'll uncross
it's
them.
it's subconscious. You
You
didn't
know-
know you did it.
You know who he reminds me of? Wayne Hutchinson. Coach Hutch,
Yeah.
he does. He's got that same. When I would ask Wayne, I'd ask him tough questions just in conversation, like playing golf, because Wayne's fun to jack with.
Oh,
He'd sit
yeah.
there just like that, and he'd be like, you could tell he's really wanting to say, Jeff, fuck off.
No, hell. It's all
That's
good.
exactly what he would have said,
It's
too.
all good.
No,
It's all
hell.
good.
What are
Yeah.
you doing for deer? I'm going to bail you out. What are you doing for deer right now?
Thanks, Andy.
Nothing.
We've been so we feed supplemental protein starting December 1st and feed. You know, usually right now we're cutting it off and they're just on their own out in the pasture, but it's usually green
Right.
and lush and
Right.
and so we're still feeding right now. I mean, Bucky's cousin Jamie, I think he's gone through 7, 18-wheeler loads of protein from December
Yeah.
1.
It's an expensive
now.
fucking hobby.
Oh,
Yeah.
Our deer here have not stopped feeding. Was there deer on the field when you come in here?
no, there
They're,
wasn't.
they're
One
here
dead
every
hog.
at
No,
10
but-
o'clock this morning, and I come back here at 11:30. No, I got here at 9:30 to 11:30. So 2 times I went down this road today, and the deer are out feeding, and there's nothing for them to eat.
No,
They're
like,
struggling dust and
the,
green.
The thing is, though, this year, most years they've got green pickings out in the pasture.
Right.
The Texas
And-
wintergrass is kicking on. Your forbs are there.
well, your fillery should be starting right now, and it's.
Shoot, I hadn't seen a leaf of fillery all year, but that wheat's the only green that they've got access to. So they're hitting, your feeders, whether it be corn or protein. This time of year, usually a deer's not going to be eating corn.
Right.
That's a winter food source for them. It's more like candy than anything, and but we've gone through I think 6 truckloads of feed, and so we'll Casey's comment was, he said, let's feed them until it greens up. So,
But what if
we may feed through the middle of April.
We've got a spot right here by the trees as you come in that we leveled out some dirt and stuff, and it's down there. And I was thinking about planting some peas for them, for like starting here pretty quick,
Right,
plant them
kind of
just so
a-
they'll have
a
some over the
spring and
summer.
summer.
Yes.
I don't know. There have been people over in Albany talk about doing something along the lines of that. The problem is you've got hogs and
Yeah.
just the rainfall. I mean, I don't know
If we get
you would have-
rainfall, it wouldn't matter, but we could run a
Right.
water hose over there and water it. But you
Well, it
said
would,
the pigs
though.
would eat
It's
it up.
too late for anything now. Wheat's not going to pop at this point, is it?
It will a little bit, but it's going to play out quick.
Yeah.
So it's St. Patty's Day today.
Yeah. So I mean, if
They're
it
calling
rains
for if it rains on Monday.
it'll jump through its ass, but it's going to play out quick because it's getting so late, and it should be mature right now.
Right.
Consistent rain between now and the time you cut, you might get a crop.
But if possible.
It's not. If you own a combine in North Texas,
You're fucked.
You better plan on traveling
Start
somewhere.
Kansas.
Yeah.
But you know what? Even north is dry.
Yeah.
I saw where Oklahoma City East is getting rain, but Dallas East is wet.
Yeah.
But you get to western Kansas, western Oklahoma, Nebraska, Blake hadn't had no rain.
I don't know where
rain
you're gonna
there
start.
anyway. I mean,
No.
they're dry. They're
Yeah,
one of the
everywhere.
driest places in the United States.
Yeah.
Do you think? Put your tinfoil hat on for a minute.
Here we go.
The harp.
Oh God, here we go.
Your brother.
Fucking Tony.
Your brother. I made a so Tony thinks that the government is manipulating rainfall, creating the global warming. My thinking is droughts are nothing new to this area. The 30s, we were in the Dust Bowl.
The
It's been-
50s.
it's been hot before. It's been dry before. I don't.
2011.
Well, I
Yeah.
think Tony would argue that harp played a role in that. I don't think so. Hot and dry in Texas is not new.
That's
normal.
a cycle.
Yeah.
And the same with the windmills.
About
Guys,
every 10 years.
guy blamed
Yes.
it on
Well,
wind.
Yeah.
they blamed it on the windmills down there in Albany.
In 2011, that's all you
Forever.
heard about was it's the windmills.
The windmills, it's deviating the thunderstorms.
yes.
The
Too much
interesting-
hot air and
the,
it
the
breaks.
interesting thing though, and we're both weather nuts, but
Yeah.
you would watch a storm cell on the radar.
I've done
and
it too.
and it would get
That is
almost
tracking. And I'm running 45 miles an hour tracking. And
right,
it gets to
right,
them
perfect,
damn windmills, and it's like,
it dissipates.
what just happened?
And it happened time and time again. But then we got into a
It would miss.
La Nina or whatever.
what is it?
Is it La Nina?
La Nina and
we got into
El
the,
Nino.
We got into the wet pattern, and
Right.
that took that argument away.
Right, and it rained. I mean, hell, some of the hardest rains were right out there
On
in
the
the middle of the
windmills.
windmill.
In 98 or 99, we cleaned out a bunch of tanks on the ranch because it was so dry.
Yeah.
And that was the year we lost a bunch of yearlings because something happened and they lost some water. Anyway, make a long story short, it was good. 2011, the
Yep.
winter of 2011, it quit raining. Mm-hmm. Or 2010, excuse me.
And here we are at 2022.
Yeah, exactly. I tell you, every 10
Every
years.
10 years.
And it's and people don't know we're in a drought because it's happened over the wintertime.
Yeah.
But we ain't had 3 inches of rain here since,
No,
since
we
July.
planted wheat in September, and the guys that got their grain in September had maybe an inch and a half of rain on it. Got it up, everything's green, looked good, and then since then, as far as measurable rain goes, I mean it's been a tenth here, 2 tenths here.
Yeah, we haven't
but
had no
nothing,
rain. No rain.
nothing.
Here's the thing with the windmills, and I will give them this, and it makes perfect sense. When you get your thunderstorms, and we get the dry line thunderstorms, and we get them every afternoon, it rains one night, they come through here and they push from Lubbock, and they'll go all the way to Wichita Falls to Dallas, and then that dry line backs up at nighttime
Yep.
or that morning, and then it starts up, and wherever the dry line is, and
Yep.
once you get that wind out of the west, you know you ain't getting the fucking rain.
Usually when it gets to Dallas, that dry line will back up and they'll build right on 283 at my entrance
Yep.
and then head east.
Okay, but once they do that stuff and they keep moving back, you keep getting the rain. Well, you get that moisture on the ground and it evaporates up and it puts moisture in the atmosphere and it helps kick off thunderstorms the next afternoon.
Correct.
Well, those windmills, what
They're-
do? They
they're-
dry out that moisture that's on the ground.
Yep.
So so it gets to a dry spot there.
Never thought about
So
that.
so the rain's coming, and then all of a sudden, where there's no
It's dry.
moisture coming up, it hit dry air again. Well, they dissipate. Then they get past the windmills again, where
And
those
revamp.
they get
Fire up.
because of the dry. That's the only thing scientifically that I can think there's any argument to the windmills, because the windmills are way too big. And I tell Tony this all the time with this harp shit. When you get into an airplane at 30,000 feet and you look out, there ain't nothing you can do that's going to control that fucking atmosphere. I don't think it's way too
Right.
much, too
big.
dynamic. It's
Yeah,
huge.
I'm
It's
ready.
fun to think. I mean, conspiracies are fun.
Oh, yeah,
and all
no doubt.
like all the fucking
Yeah.
government. But my thinking is, why would it just be West Tech? Why would it just be this little area?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot of places that have.
I
them that
understand.
they
It's
say
up
that.
to it, but it's from here to about Blake. But why don't they make shit wet? Ohio's not going through a drought.
I'm with you. Well, the Corn Belt though is from South Dakota to here, and it's dry all over that place. And that's where you feed. That's where your grains. We're attacking Ukraine. I mean, the tinfoil hats are thinking, well, Ukraine, you're taking away all their corn. Now you're relying on
They're the
China
biggest.
and
They're
Russia
the biggest
for all the
exporter
fertilizer.
of fertilizer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so who knows what they do. But my thing is, we didn't even invent big boy potties until about 10 years ago that don't hurt your knees when you get old.
Oh,
so
they're nice, ain't they?
the greatest thing in the whole world. If you're still shitting on a lowrider, you got to change your style, buddy.
My wife, she's like, I just don't know why you don't use the bathroom in your office at the ranch. I'm like, because it's got a little man
got a
toilet,
little-
and the bunkhouse down there's got big man toilets.
Yeah, we put big man ones in here, and I've got them at the house. I love so your knees don't hurt. Because best time to read is when you're taking a dump. And your own legs will start hurting. I've got up before and I can't even fucking walk. My legs asleep and shit.
Can't you wait, Wade?
Yeah.
Can't you just wait?
Looking forward to
20
it.
years from now?
Get
Yeah.
ready.
But I just, hot and dry. It's nothing new in Texas. But Tony is he's adamant. The government's fucking us. It's
Well, we know
I've
that,
I've had to block him on Facebook.
Let's go, Brandon.
You
I've-
seriously?
I did. I blocked him. I don't see any of his stuff anymore. Because it's always the same thing.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
The who's he yelling at on Facebook, by the way, Jeff?
Who?
Your brother.
I don't look at his stuff. He
All
wears
you
me out, too.
number one, all you Biden voters, go find a single mom and
Yeah, I saw
apologize to her. Who are we talking to, Tony? 7 people see your stuff. Like,
Well, the thing, no Democrat sees his stuff.
no.
No.
Because it's monitored.
Right.
You know?
He needs to watch The Social Dilemma and realize who he's talking to. He's talking to me, and I've blocked him.
Is that good?
The Social
Yeah.
Dilemma? Yeah, it's really
I
good.
want to watch it.
It so what it's I mean it just shows that
How it works.
well, and we've polarized each
Yeah.
other.
Well, I put a lot of politics stuff on mine. And I still got a lot of play on mine, though.
I'll read you the last 7. I'll read you the last 3 posts of Anthony Joseph Stanfield, because he went through a stage of country living's the best living. He was selling himself. Senator Lindsey Graham, lots of work, lots of deep state and rhinos. It's them. Daily wake up a Democrat post.
Well,
So
they
now-
don't read his shit.
So now he's doing that. He's got 4 likes.
I rode the other day with him. Me and Harry went with him, and he was listening to some conspiracy theories. It was a podcast. It was about Ukraine and stuff that's going on. And I'm reading a book right now about it. There's no doubt that we've got a lot of our politicians have got money tied up to China and all this other shit. There's no doubt about that. But my wife is like Walter Cronkite now. So I call her because I come in and she tells me the same shit. There's a group of about 10 people in Knox City that I'm closely associated with that are in this Q group, and they wear me out every day. Everything's going to hell. We're in trouble. It's a big deal. It's the end of the world coming. Blah 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 blah. And I'm getting now. You know what? I can't control it. I'm still going to talk about it. I'm still going to pay attention a little bit. But I don't watch Fox News ever. I don't try to go look for the source. I read Twitter sometimes. But Hillary Clinton's still a cunt. So is Nancy Pelosi. They ain't going nowhere. Do you agree with me, Wade?
100%.
There you go. Wade doesn't speak like I do. He's a nice young man.
Not on air, you know.
Madeline, you need to marry this boy. I can marry y'all too.
Oh, yeah.
I could drive down
he
there
would
and
do it out
tomorrow.
A hell of a deal.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Room 7.
Is the ranch open?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Come on.
He would do it out here.
Anyways,
No, hold on. I've got more questions. You just keep your
about
horse
the conspiracy?
Huh?
About the weather?
about everything, Jeff.
Okay.
I want to know what it was like when that 202 walked up, and you draw your bow back, and you're
So-
thinking, "Oh shit."
Well, hell, I'll send you the video. So
Oh, you still got the video of
I filmed it.
of you shooting it?
Yeah.
Were you shaking?
Like a dog shitting a peach seed.
Well, that's what I would be, so I didn't know.
You know, honestly, I didn't get nervous until after the shot, and I just lost my marbles. Mm-hmm. Because
How much do you practice? Do it like during the off season?
I start shooting kind of September 1st, and
Really?
shoot 10 or 20 arrows a day. I mean, you don't need to shoot a bunch, but you know,
You
it's
need to
just
knock the rust
it's-
off.
Yeah.
Are
and
you a
it's-
professional deer hunter? Is that what you would call yourself?
No, hell no. I'm far from it.
Who shot more big deer though than Wade Montgomery?
Have you shot more big deer than Jack Brittingham?
Oh,
I don't know.
Have you shot more low fence big deer than Jack Brittingham has?
I'll put him up in a race on low fence.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's killed some giant high fence deer.
This Simmons ain't no slouch with a turkey call neither.
I want to.
Let me
The high fence
Well,
fascinates me
Yeah.
because
In what way?
not in not a good way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
not
if you're shooting a deer on a 10,000 acre high fence ranch, that's still a free range fucking animal.
No.
Yes, he
no.
is.
I think you can train these deer to come to the feeder at a certain
You got
time.
your airdrop on?
What do you think? A 10,000 acre high fence ranch, those deer are pretty damn wild.
So I've killed a management deer out of a high fence. I've had buddies that have been on leases in South Texas that are 15,000 acres, high fence. They've released deer in there 15 years prior, you know, so the breeder bucks or the introduced genetics are, you know, it's just supplemented the herd. It's still hunting at the end of the day. And I mean, in 15,000 acres, you know, a deer could be on the northwest corner one day and the southeast corner the next, and it's
Tell them about the deer this year.
yeah, but I have no desire to go shoot a deer out of a high fence.
No, I understand that.
I
I don't
care
see
if
why
it's-
anybody would.
If it's 200 acres or 20,000
But
acres.
see, there's a difference between the two.
But we've also
Well, it depends. If there's introduced genetics, I'm out. But if it's a 20,000 acre ranch that's high fence with just all natural genetics, it's different. I would probably still go shoot a deer there. Would I be as proud of him? No.
But what I'm saying is,
But
a
I'm
200 acre high fence place shooting a deer is a lot different than shooting one on a 20,000 acre high ranch.
Depends. If it's all introduced genetics, it's not. It's all the same.
I don't know. I mean,
Because you go in there and kill out all your native deer,
Right. You
and
shoot
you
it.
just all
Right.
you got in there is just
Monsters.
They've got a high fence ranch right here by us as you go off the river, and I drive by there one day, and there's a 200 class whitetail out there, and there's
Standing
some,
on
just
the
walk.
fence,
Yeah,
right.
that's different.
Right.
But you get a 20,000 acre ranch, big deal. And I'm not saying it's not, but I'll flip this switch on this. It's kind of like going to the Apache Muscalera and shooting an elk.
yeah.
They take a bid. Whoever pays the most is going to shoot the biggest elk.
Right.
They can drive you out in a pickup and shoot. Oh, that's number one over there. And
Right.
you shoot a 500 inch. I don't even know what a fucking big elk is now.
no,
Maybe
yeah,
400,
450.
But
Yeah.
you shoot one of them. Well, that deer that's not a wild ass deer. It's not like you're a really hard hunt, but it's still a wild animal.
Right.
So there's places you can go shoot wild. You can go to the Wagner Ranch and shoot a big ass deer, and it's not like you're hunting on it. And those are free range animals.
Oh yeah.
Well, and I had guys. We caught a lot of grief this year on the deer that we shot. That across the state of Texas, we put them on buck registry. Everybody's saying those are released high fence deer.
Oh man.
Jealousy.
The comments are
and
crazy.
it's those are as legit as they come. Those deer were born on the ranch. They've been on our feed program. They were 6.5 years old. We've got history with them. But
He was the right man to shoot that deer from the comments that were made because people
Really? The
come in there.
202?
Yeah, because people come in there talking about how those were released deer or genetics out of released deer, and Wade just sitting over there quiet and calm, and he's like,
You didn't buy it?
I didn't.
to my knowledge, I do not know of any released deer in the last 50 years in this county. Blah 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 blah. They probably could have got out of a high fence maybe one time, but we have history of these deer. They were born on this ranch. There's no other deer like them. And it's just like, I've been over there. F you sorry. Meet me at this address.
Yeah. But that's the difference on a low fence. And I don't care if it's 20,000 acres or 200 acres. Like I said, the thing is, those deer are held captive on that property. We had a deer this year that was at Casey's house, which is out west of Albany, and we called him Junior. And Junior was a beautiful deer, had a bunch of kickers, but we all agreed on the Newell. We're going to pass this deer, give him a year, see what happens. Because he's the type of deer that could turn into a 180, 190 inch deer.
So how do you do that? You just have the picture of him and like, hey,
Yeah, if you
Everybody-
see
no go.
this deer, don't even look at him. And everybody, so that's a unique thing. I mean, it's all invite only. It's friends and family. We don't sell any hunts,
Right.
advertise, and so we agree to pass this deer. Opening day of rifle season, they kill him on the nail, 9.6 miles to the
Here's
north
the thing,
of
though.
us.
I'm fixing to show you a
good
picture.
job, Bucky.
I'm fixing to show you a picture of this deer 3 years ago. He lived at my barn for 2.5 years and then disappeared. He's been living over there for
Really?
the last year and a half.
And he went 9.5 miles.
9.5 miles. And why? I mean, he
I
had
couldn't figure out where the deer went. I hadn't seen him, and then all of a sudden, I sent Wade the picture, and he's like, "That's
You
Junior."
motherfucker. That's Junior. We're not shooting Junior.
Well, I texted Bucky. I said, "Did y'all have any luck opening weekend? Did y'all kill anything?" And he said, "Yeah, Bob Nosler killed a great deer, a bunch of kickers, and sent me a picture." And I looked at him. I thought, "Man, that deer looks familiar. There's no way he went damn near 10 miles."
What
to
do you
the
think
nail.
made it? What do you think made him go that way? Resources?
I think
Pussy?
I think he lived up there on the. I think he was born, and his younger
At his
years
barn?
lived up there at the nail, and for whatever reason during the rut the year before he went south, and wound up on the Newell and lived there throughout the summer, and then when the rut, 1st of November, weather cools off, they kind of get in the mood, and he took off and went home. And
I thought he was 2 the first year I started feeding him at my barn. And then his 3-year-old year, I thought, dang, that's going to be a cool deer. And then he was gone. And I thought, what the hell happened? He was healthy. He was a slick 10, had a big old kicker. And I thought, I don't know. And then
Do you think they just – because, I mean, he had to be one of the top dogs where he was, wasn't he, as far as, like, breeding?
down there at
Yeah.
so at Casey's house, I mean, he's got 50 or 60 deer that come into his. I mean, he kind of like y'all do, feeds the same road every day, 365 days a year, and the deer was there every day. He was the boss hog. I mean, he didn't have any reason to leave. He had food, water, you know.
Oh, that's a nice deer.
That was
That's-
him
That's
as
Junior.
That's what I thought as a 3-year-old.
Now, what makes you think that? Just because of
Just
how?
the year before, looking at him, I thought he was 2.
But are there any markers on him that would make you think?
Yeah. Okay. So, see right there, he's got 2 kickers on that G2.
Yeah.
Now, there he is right there.
Oh, okay.
That's
That's this year. That's at
That's
Casey's
on the
house.
Newell.
That's Junior.
That's Junior. I took that picture through a pair of binoculars, and then they killed him the
And
next.
there's Junior dead. And what's bad is I saw this deer the day before, and I thought, holy
Hey, he's
cow.
new.
You know Corey that comes hunting with us?
Yeah.
He was with me, and I was like, we went and told Craig, I was like, man, this deer is cool, but I think he needs another year. Mm-hmm. And Craig, they were like, you know, Bob's got Parkinson's real bad. I drove up on this deer, and he would not run off. And they said it took almost 12 minutes for Bob to get the gun out and get ready. And Craig was like, you know what, I'm just going to let him shoot him.
Right.
And yeah, and he and you know, good.
They aged him at 5.5 on the report from sending the jawbones off. He was 5.5. Whatever he was, 4.5, 5.5. I don't know, but
Well, it's cool that Bob.
yeah, Bob killed him because it'll be Bob's last year at the ranch.
He's a great deer, and I told Bucky, I said, I'm not mad. I'm tickled to death that
You shouldn't
Bob
be mad.
got
I
him.
raised that deer.
I had him the first 2 years of his life. You were just
No.
feeding the fucker.
No, I know, but I was just like, gosh, I mean, why does a deer go 10 miles?
Right.
You know, it's one thing if an elk's migrating or
Yes.
mule deer, but that deer had everything he needed right there where he was.
Did you see the mule deer doe that was on a tracker? And she
Oh,
went like, was
yeah.
it 300 or 400, 500 miles?
290,
Yeah, it was
295.
And
something
did it every year.
yeah.
That's just crazy. Speaking of elk, y'all ever have any elk in y'all's area? Have y'all sighted any?
Bucky's got one on his ranch.
Yeah, I can't find the son of a gun. He's driving me crazy.
What do you mean?
He got out of the high fence over there to the south.
Oh.
And 2 years ago, he was like, don't kill him. I was like, all right. And I could have shot him one time, but he wasn't. He was just like a 3x3, and I was like, no. Well, last year, couldn't find him. This year, couldn't find him. My sister, they come in the other day, and he was standing in the middle of the road. One horn gone, and I'm like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, you need to go find the sheds off
No.
of him.
Are you going to shoot him if you see
Yeah,
him?
you're damn right.
Do you think that
He's-
we would ever get to a point, if enough got out, that we would have a native population of elk around here?
They could survive, yes.
They were native here.
Right,
I
they
think,
were
I
here
think
first.
out there, like Bucky was talking on the Callahan Divide right there west of 283 and all those hills. I mean, they killed him. When did they shoot not the aoudad that got out of the fence?
Oh, probably 8 years ago, we killed a 34-inch aoudad on the west side of the ranch.
That was out in the middle of kind of that country that's out in the middle of
Just laying on
nowhere.
the side of a hill.
We got elk north of here about 7-8 miles.
See,
that
I've
they
heard
see.
that.
That's
like native or got out?
No, they got out. But
First
they're here.
generation.
And I heard
Max and them's ranch. There's 20 or 30 on their place right now. I've seen pictures of
Wow.
them.
I heard there's a pretty
Yeah,
good wad of
they're-
elk up at Claremont there west of Jayton.
Yeah.
I heard there's a pretty good herd up there in the breaks.
There's a good herd that's on the Wichita River right here, but it's all big ranches. Nobody's gonna fuck with them. They're not messing with them, and there's probably 30 or 40 of them up there right now.
It'd be interesting to
And
see.
they're having cows. I mean, they're reproducing.
It would be interesting to see how big they could get, like with what we've got, with the resources that we have.
I think
Those
they could
elk
get
down there would
huge.
be fine.
You think
Those
so?
are-
I think-
yeah.
I mean,
I think, yeah, you look at
I
the
think
you
they
look
could
at the
get
deer
big,
that
big.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, if there were just a handful of them, they're not. That's the issue on some of the ranches over there in Albany. Everybody's feeding these deer. You know, oh, we've got to feed every deer within 4 miles of the perimeter of our ranch. Where you're drawing all these deer in. Well, they're all competing for the same browse,
Right.
Which is what the hill country. You don't hear of low fence hill country deer getting over 150 inches,
Right.
But
'Cause
they're
they're
all competing
overpopulated,
for
yeah.
the same natural browse. But you know, you throw 150, 200 elk in this area,
Right. It's gonna.
it'd be cool to see.
I wonder
think
what
so.
it would do to the deer population, because that
No.
would take away
I mean,
resources, wouldn't
yeah.
Yeah, it
They-
it wouldn't help it by any means.
But we have that area up there is rough enough country that the elk can get a place where they can get away. What's going to happen is the state of Texas is going to come in about 5 years, and they're going to close elk season. Is what they're going to do. So people like you and me, if I had elk on one of our places, I'd shoot it too. You know, if you don't have an ear tag in it, you're really not breaking. It's an open season.
Yeah.
But they're going to come in and say, no, we're going to close all elk season. They're going to be protected, and then we're going to give you 10 years. We're going to start letting them. And that's what's going on in Nebraska right now. They're starting to have the seasons on them and stuff.
And like just let the population grow,
They're gonna-
and then 10 years down the road.
That way, it don't keep some guy from going and killing 6
Right.
or 7 of them.
Well, you look out in the Davis Mountains. I mean, they kill
Right.
400-inch bulls
big
out there
Yes.
every year. I
And-
mean, that's
But it took having to have the state to kind of
Right.
monitor it. And I'm not big on the state being in charge of anything, but that's what it's going to have to take to get elk out here. But
Yeah.
it's kind of like the bear population in Oklahoma now. That's just blown up in southeast
Yeah.
Oklahoma. They got bears everywhere now. Well, they closed it, and then they opened it up, and they let them shoot, let's say, 80 bears. I don't know what the number is, but they shoot them in 2 days.
Is it a draw? A draw? to
No,
shoot?
it's open. You can
It's
buy it
open.
over the counter
I
if
got
it's
you.
on your deer lease, but they only shoot so many, and you got to go to a check station and get them checked in and weighed
Right.
in and stuff. But they shoot like with their allot 80, and I think it's more than that even. They shoot their allotment that weekend.
I'll be
There's
doing.
that many of them. Everybody I know that's got a deer lease in southeast Oklahoma in that little area has got pictures of bears. They see bears like we have hogs.
Like north of Texoma, that country.
That area, Hugo, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
Tishomingo, that
Yeah.
area over there, tons of bear. I mean,
I'll be doing.
that's crazy.
and
Where
where
are they
we,
coming out of? Arkansas?
they've just Arkansas, Louisiana, just those areas have moved in that thicket area. We where we hunt in Oklahoma around Hobart, they've got elk. A couple of towns right around there, they've got wild elk
Yeah, I remember you.
that they come from Wichita Mountains.
Yeah,
but
Wichita Mountains.
They've moved.
Yeah.
They moved on the wheat. They see them on the wheat, and they cause a lot of damage. They're a
Yeah.
big. You imagine a deer making a damn deal. It's extra cow you got running around
Oh, yeah.
out there.
Oh, I'm right.
For
Could
sure.
you imagine if Texas did what because doesn't South Dakota, we're below,
In Wyoming,
Wyoming, I'm sorry.
yeah,
They have to pay
Yeah.
farmers
Yeah.
for
I-
damage that wild animals
I was
do.
listening to that, and I was like,
Could you
son of a
imagine
gun.
if Texas had that program? They'd lose their ass just on wild pigs.
Damn right.
There's
Oh,
not a
yeah.
lot of people in Wyoming. That's one helps them because
Right.
there's limited number
Right.
of ranchers up there. But
But when he said that, I was thinking, God almighty.
when we went to Yellowstone, and we come out of Yellowstone, and we come out the north entrance, Gladstone maybe might have been the entrance we come out of by the whatever it is, one of the springs, Manitou Springs. We come out that way. As you're driving in the mountains, the barren mountains, and then you start getting into where they've got pivots, where they got rye or wheat planted and stuff, or alfalfa. There'll be fucking 300, 400, 500 elk on a field, and it's every
yeah.
one of them is like that way. And you're thinking,
And they live
God,
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thinking, God, how do you get a crop raised? You
Yeah,
deal with
you
elk
think
every day.
you think the hogs are better out here.
And it's nothing to see 300-400 head of elk and then see another 200 mule deer in there.
Right.
My wife's brother, one of his best friends in college, he's from Wyoming, and if you leave Cody and go north and a little bit east, right on the Montana border, I can't remember the name of this town, that's where he's from, and they grow alfalfa. That's where my cousin Jamie buys all his alfalfa from this guy. They're the driest place in the United States. They're drier than Death Valley. They get less than 3 inches of rain a year. And they irrigate out of the
Yellowstone River, probably.
no, the Wild Bill Cody Reservoir. When you leave Cody, Wyoming, going into the Yellowstone, there's a canal system, and they don't add any more people to this canal. The only people that are grandfathered in are on it, and they're on the end of that line. But they just
They get all the water they need.
yep.
Yeah, because there's a lot of water there.
But
a
they
lot of
get
running.
less than 3 inches of rain a year.
But it's perfect for growing their crops.
Oh yeah, for alfalfa especially dry.
Have you been to Yellowstone?
Yeah,
That's one of the neatest places
It
I've
is.
ever been. That's one place I'd like to take my grandkids.
I got engaged in Yellowstone.
Well, congratulations.
What were you doing?
Wade, you got to go to Yellowstone.
Take a hike. And
We were just I was on a vacation with her family, and I thought about doing it while we were there, and her dad tricked me into it.
Well, how
He
did
tricked
he
you
do
into
that?
it?
Yeah, we were just driving along, and we decided if they decided to take family photos, I'd do it then.
Now, this was all you had already talked to him about.
Yeah, we've already
Taking her
and I
hand?
had the ring there with me, and I thought, well, if we find a spot, and he just whipped it over by this lake and was like, here we go.
We need a picture here.
And I was like, oh shit,
Have you heard the story about Blake's engagement?
no.
Oh, Jesus
Do you remember
Christ.
talking to me that day
No.
on FaceTime?
I didn't
It was
talk to
right
you.
after you fell.
Was it?
Yeah.
When'd you fall? Oh, and going back to the room.
No, I was trying to get my COVID test. I talked to you?
Yeah.
No. I
It was you and Blake and Emily and Jesse, and Blake goes, Bucky, we're fucked up. We'll call you later.
We were.
What day was that? Was that the day we had the cabanas?
Jeff,
That was
I don't remember.
Saturday.
I don't remember
that was
talking to him.
that was the cabana
That
day.
was Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, that's the day we had the
Because
cabanas.
Stoner FaceTimed me at like 11.
No,
that
we had the
morning.
cabanas on Sunday.
I don't remember talking to the guy.
Whatever
Jeff.
day he got engaged, Stoner FaceTime me was like, Blake just got engaged.
That was
me
it.
see,
That
I've
was
got
at
it.
Al Morales. That was on Saturday.
Was it on
Yes,
Saturday?
that was
I've
on
got
Saturday.
the video.
Yeah,
one
'cause
of
I
us
was moving.
One of us was pretty sober on this trip.
It was not Andy.
No,
I was fucked up. I was drunker than 10 Indians.
no. I told I wanted Blake to ask her to get engaged the first day or the last day. That way, if she said no, it wouldn't be awkward for the rest of us because we're going to have a good time. You don't want to
February 26th. So, yeah, it was Saturday. So, Blake Poppy orders this ring in November. Orders it from a guy in Stephenville, a Canadian. That was his first mistake. They're non-committal in Canada.
So far, you're 100% correct.
And talking to this guy, non-committal is a compliment. So he orders it in November. We've got the trip planned for February. He talks to the guy. We're leaving on, I don't remember what
we were going to leave on, we were supposed to fly out. We were going to leave on Wednesday, and we were flying out on Thursday. But
either way,
you know,
Blake had it set up to where it was going to ship to my house. We were going to bring the ring down to Mexico. Blake says, okay, we're flying out 24th of February. Will it be at their house before they leave on the 23rd? Absolutely no problem. Don't worry about it. The ring, we're finishing it up. Week before, Blake calls the guy. Hey, just checking up. Like, is the ring going to be done? Blah, blah, blah. Like, they're driving up on Wednesday to fly out Thursday. Are we still good? Is it going to be in Knox City by then? Oh, yeah, no problem at all. No problem. Well, like, it gets to, like, Friday before we fly out on Wednesday. Well, the Postal Service is a fucking wreck.
Oh, just terrible.
If you ship it on Friday, it's not going to get here.
There's no way.
Maybe by next Friday.
Maybe. So he calls the guy, and he's like, hey, what's the deal with the ring? Is it done? Is it shipped? Where is it? He's like, no, I've still got it. So Blake said, okay. There's a guy that lives in Granbury, which is 30 minutes from Stephenville. Can you give it to him, and then they can meet in the Metroplex before they fly out and get it from him? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. Well, Snowmageddon hits. We don't fly out of Dallas anymore. We're going to fucking Houston. So
we had to drive to Houston on Wednesday.
Blake calls me and he's like, listen, what are you guys? How are you guys getting to Mexico? I'm like, at this point, Blake, I don't know if we're getting to Mexico. Jeff, all, negative Nelly over there.
The thinker in the group.
Blake, we're not going to be able to get your ring. Tony calls Blake. Blake, you might as well just get another ring. We're not going to be able to get your ring. Yeah,
there's an ice storm hitting.
Like they fucking grow on trees.
Just
I'm going to
get another
one. You've had this one ordered for 2 months, 3 months. Just go get another one.
You could give her a ring and then give her the ring.
Nah, Jeff, they don't appreciate that.
Yeah, they probably wouldn't.
And my wife even seconded that. She said, Blake, you do not need to get a second ring. So we drive through.
Hold on. You're leaving off a lot of story of this deal.
What?
So we are Wednesday morning.
Scrambling.
At 7 o'clock in the morning, Jessie calls me. She said, hey, they've moved our flight back. They haven't canceled it. They've just delayed it. I've already rented a suite in Dallas for all of us to stay in. Prepaid for it. So you save $37. Cost me $600 for doing that.
Hell of a deal.
So we're going to Dallas to stay. That's where we're flying out of Wednesday morning. Well, me and Michelle are going to ride with Jessie and Andy. And we're going to go down there and go out and eat dinner somewhere. We can't leave till 7:30. Reese has got basketball practice. Tony's going to drive down about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he's going to run by and pick up the ring. Well, now there's an ice storm. So we're sitting in the office here Wednesday morning about 9:30, and I'm like, fuck. I don't know how we're going to get to Mexico. I've tried to book a trip out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Lubbock, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, El Paso. I'm thinking of any way we can drive to that place to get a flight to Cancun. Everything flies through fucking Dallas, Texas, and they're canceling everything. Well, about 30 minutes later, I get a message, and Jessie calls. They just canceled our flight. I said, fuck. She goes, but I think the 4 o'clock flight is on. I said, okay. So we start leaving. Tony finds a flight, Southwest Airlines, out of Houston to Cancun one way. Book that motherfucker. So we booked it. We left here at 12:30. My wife, who is a super packer, she has packs for every fucking thing. If we were going to the desert to stay, she would pack a coat just to make sure. She overpacks for every fucking thing.
You don't know what you're going to run into.
She fucking overpacks for everything. I called her. I said, Michelle, we're leaving in 30 minutes to go to Houston. What? She goes, I haven't even packed yet. I was going to pack later on. I said, you better start packing. We got 30 minutes. I said, I haven't packed either.
Bathing suits and flip-flops. Yeah, that's all you need.
So I said, fuck it. I'm only going to take one bag because it's just going to be. So I took my dive bomb backpack. Perfect piece of luggage for me, too. Threw my shit in there. Michelle, 30 minutes. She overpacked. Cost me $75 because she was overweight. And couldn't believe it. That lady goes, you're 8 pounds over. She goes, do you want to switch and try to put some in your shit? I said, fuck no. I said, $75?
No,
I said, pay $75 fucking dollars.
So we're driving down. So I called the guy. I said, Blake, no matter what Jeff tells you, I'm getting your ring. don't let them get you down.
Leave it up to me. I'll have it there.
I'm driving. I'm getting your ring. So I picked Jeff and my mother up. He's like, we can't go to Stephenville. We cannot. You got to go to Austin and over to Houston. We cannot get Blake's ring.
It's icy.
I said, I'm driving. I've got this. So I said, Blake, give me the guy's number. I'm going to call him. I call the guy. What time? It was 12.
He was going to meet us. He was going to give it to Steve, and then Steve was going to meet us. He was like, no, fuck the count the middleman out.
So I call the guy, and I say, hey, we're actually driving to Houston now to fly out to Cancun. I'm friends with Blake Poppy. I'm going to pick up his ring in Stephenville. What's the weather like down there? Well, I hadn't been out yet.
Yeah, how the fuck do you not know? Because I'm wanting to know, do we have an inch of ice on the ground?
Do you have a window? Like, can you look out and, like, give me a little bit of a...
I hadn't been out yet.
I had to call Steve Barber, who lived in Granbury, to give me a fucking weather report. Because if it was like...
Was it icy down there?
No,
it was fine.
lucky. From Abilene, it stopped and got icy. And then we were good all the way to Houston. Harry drove home that night, and he said from College Station on, it was horrible. Cars rolled over in the ditches and everything.
But I couldn't get past that comment. What's the weather like?
I hadn't been out yet.
Do you have a fucking window that you can look out? Like, I'm driving through an ice storm right now. Can you just look out a window and tell me what I might be coming into?
Give me an idea.
A little heads up.
Because if it would have been icy and you couldn't drive down there,
no, you're
then
not
I
going.
Right. That's right. We would have been going south, and I'd have bought a fake ring for Blake to buy.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. But I just, like, that's a fucking Canadian answer. I scouted up there the year that we were up there. I hadn't even been out yet. Like, fucking lie to me at this point. I don't give a shit. Just tell me it's terrible.
Where did he find this guy?
So the ring
Shelby.
that she wanted, they kind of Instagram and
I
found the
guy.
guy.
Shelby knew the guy.
He did a really good job. The ring was beautiful. So anyway, we drive to Stephenville. We get the ring.
We meet at, what's the name of that place we ate at? The little Mexican restaurant right there on the main by Tarleton.
I can't remember the taco
something
shop.
taco company.
I can't remember.
Shoot,
it's a Stephenville
I ain't been
tradition.
to Stephenville in a long time, and I didn't leave anything last time.
They wouldn't even let me go in there and take a piss.
Yeah, they were shut down on the inside. So anyway, we get
can I come in there and take a leak? No, sir, you can't. Okay.
Parking lot it is.
Yeah.
We get the ring, and my wife, we all come to the agreement.
Jesse blew a good one.
We're going to send the picture of a fake ring to Blake. My wife she travels with like a little shitty little ring so she doesn't lose her wedding ring. We were going to take a picture of that in the box, send it to Blake. Like, this is what we got. It was going to be perfect.
And he'd be like, "What the fuck?"
Everybody in the car was laughing at the joke,
including Jesse.
Including Jesse. So like she heard. I know that she heard. Well, like 30 minutes later, Blake's like, or how did that even come up?
I said, we got to take this picture of the ring and send it to him. Okay. She goes, oh, well, I sent him a picture already of the ring.
It's like, what the fuck, Jesse? You were laughing at the joke. You were in on the joke.
How the fuck do you fuck that up? This is a perfect one. He's going to be like, that's not the goddamn ring I paid for. I paid $7,000 for that son of a bitch.
Yeah.
$49 fucking Avon
Walmart
ring.
special?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But anyways, she's like, oh, I didn't know.
Like, damn it, Jesse.
You had the whole conversation. You were in on it. How do you fuck that up?
You can't tell me that you had your AirPods in and like you didn't hear. Like you were laughing at the joke. So we get to the Isle of Mujeres, and Blake, we had a code. Tom Osborne. That was the word. Tom Osborne. I give Blake the ring, and they go. And I was like 5 tequila shots in, and he comes up to me. He's like, hey, he's got a Cuban in his mouth. Tom Osborne. I'm like, what are you talking about? Tom Osborne?
It didn't register.
No, I'm like,
ain't he dead?
Yeah, like, Nebraska coach, what are we doing here? Like, where's the ring? I'm like, oh, fuck, it's on the boat. So I got to track my drunk ass back to the boat, because it was in Jeff's backpack. I don't know where Jeff's backpack was.
It was on the boat.
On the boat, and like, find the ring, and I'm like,
that's why my bag had been through when I went there.
Yeah.
No, I was the first one back to the boat.
It wasn't the Cabana boy.
So I did. I was like, Blake, Tom Osborne. It finally registered. Here, my drunk ass, here's your wedding ring.
No, they wrote me into buying $240 worth of fake fucking tequila.
Yeah, me too.
They get in there and
I heard that story.
I couldn't believe that shit. Boy, it was white, creamy looking shit. And takes it. It tastes just like coconut. Michelle got home. She was going to show Zach and Shelby how good it is. Poured it was crystal clear. I'm like, that's not the same shit they were fucking giving us as samples at that place.
But you could tell he was nervous.
He was
nervous.
scared to death.
Why? I knew she was going to say yes.
Yeah, but you're in front of everybody.
Yeah.
And there were 7 video cameras out of Blake, poor Blake. Like, if she'd have said no.
I was getting my fish aid on. I had my feet in the fish
Who was
tanks.
it that was it Trevor that photobombed?
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
pretty good picture.
I think I've got it.
That's a good picture.
Have you ever had the fish eat your fish? That where you put your feet in the damn deal and the fish eat all the dead skin
no,
on?
that'd be a bunch of dead
no.
fish.
Fucking
My fish
badass.
is damn ticklish.
Man, I love that shit. Boy, I was sitting in there doing that, and Michelle's like, Blake's fixing to ask a pop question. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I ain't gonna say yes or no for her. If she's smart, she's going to say, yes, he's a good catch.
He is that.
But I can remember when I asked Jesse, like, it was just us two, and I was still nervous.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine doing it in front of a bunch of people.
So, Wade, how are you going to do yours?
Hadn't even thought that far yet.
Yeah, start thinking, bud. You don't want her to get away from you. She's a freaking doctor.
Let's watch
I
Wade
know.
shoot a 200 right
yeah.
quick.
And she's a real doctor. We had a guy work for us told us his wife was a doctor, and she was.
What is this, a
God
GoPro?
Almighty.
No video.
No, I had a big camera on
For
a
everybody
tripod.
that says that you don't fucking shoot big deer under a feeder, this is going to put that to rest.
What if, is
On a
that-
normal year, would that deer be eating at feeders?
Yeah, I mean,
Take a step.
wow.
Did you see the blood come out of that son of a bitch? Rewind it and watch him right there in that pocket.
Hang on a second. Let me see if I can.
How far out are you on this?
24 yards.
So you knew you had a good
Holy
shot.
smokes. Yeah, I mean, he went.
The other fucking deer wasn't small that was with him.
Yeah, that's what.
No.
Hold on. A
What was
second.
that other
Hold
deer?
on a second.
What's this deer on the right score?
We shot him a couple weeks later. He was right at 140.
Oh, he
was
looks
just
bigger
an
than
8
that
point.
even. That one is a fucking hoss. Why'd you shoot the 140 inches?
The boss man told me to go kill the big one.
No,
Oh,
no,
oh,
the
what?
other one,
What?
yeah.
He was just an 8 point. He was just
He
a
wasn't gonna be no
management deer.
more?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's a management deer, 140 inch deer.
How far did
he
he
had
go?
to give his he had to do all his commentary for Deercast or whatever it's called with juries.
How far was he?
24 yards, and he
No,
went
no. How far did he go?
50 yards,
50 yards.
Yeah.
Give him an hour or 45 minutes.
about 5 minutes.
Is that all?
Yeah,
I'd be the same fucking
I
way.
knew I smoked him, and
Is he dead? They're still thumping?
Oh,
when you get
yeah.
there?
Have you ever walked up to a deer and he was still had a little bit of life?
we had one this year. A hunter shot him. He was a deer we called Hercules, and he was mid 170s, big, huge frame. He had a bigger frame than the deer I shot. And so the guy was from Houston, comes in, shoots the deer. He said, I smoked him. I watched him fall, sends me the video. I'm thinking, hell, same deal. That deer's 50 yards. Awesome. Let's go get him. I walk out there, and in that pasture, the broom weeds were 2.5 foot tall. And I said, all right, Blake, where'd he fall? And he said, right out there. I walk out there, and the deer's head turns, and he turns and looks at me. And I'm like, shit, this isn't good. So I'm like, Blake, come here. And I said, draw your bow back. He's like, I can't see him. I said, I don't care. Draw your bow. At least have your bow drawn where when you walk up here and you can see him,
Right,
you
you're
can
ready to
shoot
go.
him. And he's like, where is he? I'm like, be quiet. He's right here. He's still alive. I mean, he's 10 yards from me. And so we walk up to him. I'm like, draw your damn bow. And he won't do it. And so he walks around to the side where he's got a little bit of an opening and goes to draw his bow back, and his arrow jumps out of his arrow rest and gets stuck. And so, and he's like, fuck. And of course the deer jumps up and takes off running. And I actually had a rehearsal dinner that night. And so I was like, we'll get JT and the dogs down here in a little while, but I've got to go. I mean, I was on a time crunch. And so they found the deer 600 yards with the dogs from where we jumped him. But no, it happens all the time. And
Really?
and that is a terrible feeling. And it was a rookie mistake, but you don't ever go track a deer. I don't care if you think you've smoked him. You take your bow with you if you're bow hunting. You take your rifle if you're rifle hunting, because I've had it happen way too many times. I had it happen with a kid one time that the deer was laying dead in the feeder pen, and we walk up to the deer and he goes to bobbing his head. I said, Ryder, just shoot him behind the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And the kid draws down. Of course, this kid's 9 or 10 years old, freaking out, misses the deer. The deer jumps up, and we never found him.
What
Wow.
did that 200 class deer that you shot? How big was he last year?
He was mid 170s.
So so you knew this deer. Is there
Yeah,
any,
we called him Unicorn.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any deer that I know you don't know this, but have you ever had a big deer just pop up all of a sudden? You're like, where the hell? I've never seen that deer
We had a
before.
deer this year that was mid 190s that my brother and I saw him last year, probably the second week of December, kind of the tail end of the rut. Showed up at a feeder, didn't know him. He had 3 broken tines, and my brother's like, let me shoot him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, he's broke up. He's like, the taxidermist can fix that. And I was like, no, we're not shooting him. And so didn't shoot the deer. The deer disappears. We don't see him. I don't have any pictures of him. Run cameras, set up some other kind of offset feeders. Doesn't show up anywhere. So I think, the deer dies. Second week of December this year. Literally, same time frame. Run a camera up there at that same feeder. The deer shows back up, and he's a straight 12-point, has like 6 kickers, and is well into the 190s. And I'm like, okay, I texted KC, hey, we've got a deer in the 190s, go kill him. He's like, I'm good. Maybe we'll find the sheds this year.
Oh, shit.
And so the deer was there for 4 days, then disappeared for about a week, showed back up the middle of the night, one night, and I haven't seen him since.
So you've got a deer that's going to be over 200 maybe this year.
Possibly, but I don't know where the deer lives. I don't know where he came from.
He's probably over at Bucky's house.
He could be
where
though.
that deer goes.
But I've asked every neighbor that we've got, does this deer ring a bell? And nobody recognizes him.
Because everybody would talk about it.
You think he lives to the northwest over there?
I think there's a big flat back to the southeast of where he shows up, and there's about 1,500 acres that doesn't have a feeder down there. And after he showed up this year and then disappeared, I put 2 feeders down there in that bottom, and he didn't show up at either one. But
that gives you a hope for next year that you're going to have a big ass deer if
yeah.
we get some rain, a big deer.
Yeah. Everybody's asked me this year, they're like, what's the deal? And it was a perfect storm of rainfall, genetics, age,
It might be a decade before it happens again.
So they've owned that ranch for 30-plus years, and that this was by far the best season they've ever had. Not just the big deer, but, I think we shot 6 deer that went north of 170 this year. And usually on an average year, if you break 165 in Shackford County, that's a giant. So it was.
You're gonna piss the boys in the Golden Triangle off now.
I hunted down there in January, and it was funny, but they're, same type deal. They kill 200-inch deer every year down there, and they were in a drought type situation, and the biggest deer they'd shot this year was a little over 180, and all you hear about is the Golden Triangle, Triangle, and I'm like, well,
Our little triangle's pretty cool.
Shackford County can compete.
Do you see that Facebook page, Puro Pinchy or whatever it is?
I don't guess
It's
so.
it's some deer hunting deal. I don't know how the hell I'm a member of it, but I am. But I don't ever write anything, but I read all this shit. I like it. Today or yesterday, the big debate was tipping hunting guides, and the guys on there, you shouldn't tip them. You don't tip the guide. It's a post office, blah blah. Dude, it's a service.
Yeah, damn right.
Wake the fuck up, whatever. It was a back and forth deal, but the guy was trying. I guess some guy down there made a post that said, if you save up money to go on a deer hunt, and you're going to spend $4,000 to go shoot a deer hunt, you need to go ahead and save another 20% so you can give $800 tip to the guy. That's his job, and that's what he does. Well, it was just back and forth, but it backfired on the guy because more people were like the guy. That's what the guy does for a living.
Yeah.
Well, it's not my fault he chose to do something like that. Well, don't be a fucking dick. If
Exactly.
you don't want to tip, don't go on the hunt. You don't have to tip, but
it's just an appreciation deal, and all the people that we have come hunt are very gracious, and
yeah,
take care of us.
You're dealing with good people.
It's the same thing like y'all's operation up here. There's a lot of unseen time and effort that goes into putting a goose hunt together. It's not, you're not just taking us to a field and sitting us by a center pivot and saying, okay, well, I hope they show up this morning.
See what happens
People,
today.
most of your customers realize that, but it's the guy that gets on there but he's not going. The guy that was bitching about, he ain't going on a guided hunt anyways. He's some.
So why does it matter to him?
But just bitches, but just a bitch. But they had 400 comments last time I read. I read about 30 or 40 of them. I thought, okay,
I've seen enough.
Yeah,
And there's certain places that do provide pickups and stuff, but a lot of these guides, they buy their fuel.
Mm-hmm.
They pay for that pickup. They pay for those tires. That tip is a service to them.
Yeah.
Because guide wages aren't the
No,
greatest.
one guy's like, well, I guide some, and I just appreciate, a good handshake. And if someone gives me a belt buckle or a knife or something, I'm thinking, you're a lying sack of shit.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
How
know
many
if-
fucking knives do you need?
Yeah. But so are the deer going to go backwards this year possibly?
So we had
Could that happen?
We had a meeting with the nutritionist from the feed company that we feed a Cargill feed. It's record rack, but they came out to the Stasny Ranch last week, and we were asking those guys. We said, based on what y'all have seen in a drought type year, are these deer going to go from the 160s that we left this year? They're going to be 140s next year.
Right.
And they said, You know, as long as you have supplemental feed out for them, they're going to maintain what they were the year before. They're not going to make that 20 or 30-inch jump that all these deer did this year.
This last year.
You know, just because they don't have the natural browse out in the pasture. But, you know.
So if you supplemental feed, you can maintain what you had. Theoretically.
That was their standpoint, which they're feed salesmen, and they're great guys, and they're straight shooters. But, you know, I would say, you know, as far as the overall county goes, you're not, if it doesn't rain, you're not going to see. I would love to know countywide how many deer were shot over 160 this year.
Oh my gosh, a bunch.
I mean, it was every time you'd pull up the Texas Buck Registry, and there were a lot of deer that Bucky and I would send each other pictures. You know, where'd this deer come from? Mm-hmm. You know, it was Shackelford County, but we didn't know.
And we didn't know where they were the person who it was. I mean, and some big deer. But how many did y'all kill over 160?
Shoot, I don't know. I mean, I think we had 2 deer on the Newell, 2 trophies that were under 160, and the rest of them were north of that. So I think we killed 10 or 12 deer, but six of them were over 170.
We killed 5 or 6 over 160, and then Jamie killed.
Shoot, he killed
another 6 or 8.
Yeah.
So just those 3 ranches killed, 20, 22 deer over 160. And then that's just 3 ranches in the county.
It was an exceptional year, and we left a lot of good deer out there,
right?
That were borderline 4.5, 5.5 year old type deer. And
so Junior, would he have grown much between 5.5 or 5 and 6?
I thought
yeah, he would have probably.
You think so?
Even with yeah, because how old was your deer?
6. So Max Spurgeon's deer, the 185 or 186, he was 5.5, but he was kind of close to a neighbor.
Okay, so Wade's deer went from 170 at 5.5 to 200 at 6.5.
Okay.
But I've also seen them. I mean, we've had deer that
will go backwards too at 6 years old.
Have stagnated. We had a deer that I shot in 2008. I think I shot moose in 2018. But he was, we saw him at 5.5.
It was 18.
And he was 195 inch deer. The next year, we only had a handful of pictures of him, but he was probably only high 160s, maybe 170. But he backtracked big time. And it was a dry year.
Yep.
And then it rained the following year, and he jumped back up to 180, and I killed him. But, I think each deer is different. I mean, some of them are going to make bigger jumps than others based on genetics. And
the protein's great, like hands down, because it maintains their body, keeps their body condition good. But what they get from those timely rainfalls from Mother Nature on those browse lines is what makes them really, in my opinion, make that jump.
Right.
Because you can't compete with Mother Nature.
Right.
I don't care what you put in a feed.
No.
Right.
You cannot compete with Mother Nature.
Yeah. So, and then we'll wrap up here because I know you guys got a long drive. I lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was going to say. Whenever they reach like 6.5 years old, they're close to their peak, though, aren't they? I mean, could you let them go to 7? Possibly.
I think every deer's different.
You could. I think the older you let a deer get, I mean, yes, there's a chance that he could jump another 10 or 15 inches.
Rule of thumb: how old do you let them get?
We shoot them at 6.5.
That's it.
And like I said, it's a unique situation because we're not selling hunts, and we have the ability to pick and choose which deer we're going to go after. But a lot of these deer will peak at 5.5. But by giving them that extra year, you're getting that much more breeding out in the pasture. You're spreading genetics. But with each passing year, you're chancing that deer, like I said earlier, he gets hurt, he gets injured, he gets shot on the neighbor.
Fucking Bucky.
Telling you.
But
9 miles away, the neighbor 9 miles away. Got a 25,000 acre ranch in between us.
Yeah, and that deer went all the way, and they hunt that ranch really hard.
Really?
Hard.
He just passed right through.
He just
Went
walked a straight line right across that son of a bitch.
So
that's crazy.
Yep.
It's a lot of fun.
Do you think that the turkey limit's too high? We can shoot 4. Can y'all shoot 4 also?
Yep.
You can shoot 4.
I wish they'd go back down to 2 for a little while.
2?
We need it right now. I mean,
Just like with quail, I wish they'd knock the quail limit down to about 7.
I think the reason they don't do that is because when they do rebound so good, they're so plentiful.
That's all right.
That's all right. Leave that much more.
Exactly.
But
They die anyways.
That was my next point. It doesn't matter, during those seasons where we had a surplus of birds, we were shooting a max of 2 birds out of each covey, and that was just kind of the gentleman's deal. And then, 2 years later, there's not a bird to be found in the county.
It's kind of like dove. If you knock the dove limit down to 8 or 10, which I wouldn't care,
right?
It's not going to make any difference
No.
because
No,
average dove's lifespan is a year, just like a quail, a year and a half.
Right.
So it's not going to make any difference.
In Wade's family, they're big time. He comes from a long line of quail hunters, and they take it very, very serious.
Oh.
And when you go hunting with his dad or some of their family members or friends, you do it old school, and you try to shoot males, and you try to shoot 2 out of every covey and be done.
That's it.
And I don't care if they all land 25 yards over here. You get your ass and go the other way.
Yeah. Well, and back in
But that's how you protect your resource.
Exactly.
Back in those years, we were leasing a bunch of Bucky's country. My dad saw him on a county road one day, and he said, "Bucky," he said, "I'm seeing a lot of birds out here." He goes, "Is it really as good as I think it is?" And Bucky said, "There's birds all over this ranch." And he called Craig Winters, the ranch manager, the following Monday, and hell, he leased up
But the western half of the ranch, about 15,000 acres.
Yeah, my mom, I don't
That was
think
back
she
when
has a clue.
we had 30,000 acres then, and they pretty much had the whole western and north end of the ranch. And I was just like, Jesus, Robert Montgomery.
But it was, and that's his passion. He doesn't care one thing about deer or waterfowl or anything, but he loves
Quail.
taking his bird dogs out.
He
and
don't even
running
care about
dogs.
shooting them. He just wants to take his dogs out. That's
Yeah.
it.
Passion. We talked about that
Oh, yeah.
earlier
Yep.
with Wyman. You got to have. Everybody has to have a passion
For
in
sure.
life. The people that don't, it's
Right.
crazy. All right, it's over 2.5, almost 2.5 hours.
It's
gosh.
going to be interesting to see what happens with the deer mass and population. And
Same
all
thing.
that
It's
good
going to happen to
stuff.
our wild waterfowl. If we don't get some rain, it's going to be tough.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be interested to see how far of a back step they take.
Yeah,
It'll be
I
interesting
year.
for sure.
don't.
We're going to
envi-
get
I
a lot
don't-
of questions answered.
Yeah, I don't envision us shooting another 200 next year. But it's like that deer that
You never know.
he may show back up.
We didn't have a wet winter last year, but we had a
No.
wet spring and
Yeah.
summer.
And it was wet in June, and a lot of people don't realize that.
And
all the way
yes,
through
Very
June.
wet.
And
And then
Up
all of a
until the
sudden
4th of July.
it quit raining,
Yep.
and it was so green, nobody realized it. And all of a sudden, everybody
It's
looked
too
up and
bad.
was like,
We-
shit, it's
It's
dry.
dry again.
It's raining like a son of a bitch right now in Lawton, Oklahoma. Big severe thunderstorm. I just saw it. That line, it's right where they said it's going to be. I wish them fuckers would start backing that shit
It's
up.
going to go to Munster every time.
It's going that way.
Yep.
Gentlemen, we appreciate you coming out here.
Thank
I
y'all.
hope it hadn't been too painful for you, Wade.
Yeah.
Thanks
I
for
told-
having us.
I told-
I had a great time.
I told
Good.
Bucky I would kind of back you up if Jeff got on you too bad.
Well,
So,
y'all took it easy on me, so I appreciate it.
I
Thank
just
you,
try
guys.
to treat everybody the same.
You
Yeah.
bet.
I
Well,
do that.
Enjoyed it. Thank y'all.
Thank y'all very much.
bye, guys.
God bless y'all. Have a great day.
Dude.
Go check out all of our wonderful sponsors before you leave here. Check out Shin Gear Waders. Check out Dive Bomb Industries, Bosch Shot Shells, Pacific Calls, Dirty Duck Coffee, Lucky Duck, Alpha Outdoors, Looking Glass Duck Club Podcast, Gun Dog Outdoors, Take Plains Meats, Stanfield Hunt Outfitters, Bangtail Whiskey.